Today's Thursday, December 6th.
It's really going to expose my uneducated mess of a mind that I have in sports.
Man, you were shooting here, and you hit like here.
Am I just a dumbass? Which, is very possible and actually might be a real thing.
Your wrist position in neutral is actually not straight. Your wrist position in neutral is at a 15 to 20 degree incline.
How close was your relationship with Campbell?
He's personable. He's definitely a player's coach.
It's weird that someone would break up with you when there's so much cake.
Oh!
Are you proposing childbirth microtransactions?
All right. So let me tell you about the reproductive system.
If the first thing that you notice during someone's orgasm is the smell,
there's some questions that need to be asked.
Untitled After Dark.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. You will see that I'm on the right-hand side of your screen now, and on the left-hand side of the screen is not Finn. It is good old honorary. We need to just make you honorary guest. Maybe, I was thinking about this earlier. Maybe we need to make this a 3-person show, just because, three people works with just all of us together. It just
vote.
It just works. It's like Nvidia's press conference on their graphics card, or no, not Nvidia. Whoever it was, some game developers like it just works. I'm gonna say that every time I have an interview. It's just hey, talk about this. It just works. Project presentations. But anyway, today is episode 33. It is Thursday, November 4th, 2021. It is currently 10:33 p.m. in the Central Time. You will also notice that we are an hour late. That is on me because engineering student on campus late. Fun times, awesome time. I love my life. But yes, again, guest host Circleherk filling in for Ski-Dep. Ski-Dep has another busy week. He is scheduled to come back next week though. Quote, going to be a banger of a show. Not banger show. Not like that. We'll get banned from Twitch or something like that. Going to be a banger of a show, not a banger show. But Circleherk, how are you today?
I'm here, and I feel pretty good. I think you would have had me at absolute best at 9:30. But you're out there saving the world, dude, and if you got to push it back an hour, you got to push it back an hour. So I'm here. I feel great. It was actually very nice to meet you in person. I don't know if we'll talk about that later or not, but hopefully we do, because I have a lot of apologizing to do. And it's good to see you again, although it's weird now you're so much different looking through a monitor than you are in person.
I
will say that.
Because, one, I was wearing a hat. A stocking cap.
You were wearing a hat.
Because I usually wear a hat anywhere I go, except for inside my apartment. Actually, there have been a couple times though that I've fallen asleep with my stocking cap on. There have been a couple times like that. Sometimes I just forget that it's there. But I wear a hat usually when I'm out, and also you can see more than just my chest and above. When you will notice that I am a skinny guy, skinny-ish guy. The cake probably looks better on camera than it does.
No. It looks better in person. You got that swimmer body. You know what I'm saying?
It's weird because I was never a swimmer, and college fashion, whatever they are, confession. I can't swim.
You can't swim?
I cannot swim.
Oh man, we got to go swimming.
I can't swim. I
were just talking about that not too long ago. The people that can't, growing up with people, and then all of a sudden you get out, you kind of satellite to wherever you go because of school or wherever, and you start to meet all these people that can't swim, and it's oh my god, you can't swim, and it's almost offensive to be can I teach you? And then people are no, get away from me. It's danger zone, dude. I'm not getting in water. Are you serious?
I know somebody who was in the Navy before, and he told me that there were people in the Navy that didn't know how to swim. This was back in the 80s, but I don't think knowing how to swim is a requirement for joining the Navy, actually. Which is weird because you'd think, oh, hey, you're out overseas on the seas all the time.
You don't have to swim. You just have to float.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I can float. I can doggy paddle. I can get from point A to point B.
You're swimming, baby.
Okay,
You're swimming.
Okay, so then I guess I can swim.
You might not be doing a butterfly, but like you're swimming.
No, I can get from point A to point B. But I do better at sinking than I do floating. I don't know, which is really odd because I'm a small guy. I mean, average height, but like. Actually, you know what? I actually think I would be considered overweight by the BMI, but because BMI.
Oh my god.
Skeet and I have talked about BMI before on the show. I think how stupid of a metric BMI is.
Yeah.
Because even like the healthiest person, like you could be a 5'2" bodybuilder could be considered obese. Overbeat. That might have to be the metric above obese. You have overweight, obese, morbidly obese, and overbeast, maybe. Maybe that would be our thing.
And I think you start getting into like category 2, category 3, which is where I am somewhere. The doctors is like, we can't figure him out. Like he's shaped like a hedge. I don't know where he is.
We're gonna start have to using the Richter scale. We're gonna call like a magnitude 7. That's what you are.
Mm-hmm. You can feel him coming.
All right, yeah. So it was nice meeting you in person. Finally, it was. I was nervous, not as nervous. I was nervous because, I was working on an assignment, a college assignment beforehand, and I said I was going to be there. So I think I texted you at like 7:30 or 6:30ish. I texted you at 6:30.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't get back to my apartment because I texted you from campus. I didn't get back to my apartment until like an hour later. And my assignment took a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. And so I was just like, man, I feel bad because like I said to this tech, I said, I'm going to be there. I will be there. But then I ended up showing at 11:30.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I feel bad because like I'm so late. And I'm not one of those people that I hate being late to things, to anything. I just hate being late.
Well, it's not like there was a time or anything, but it was like the problem is that I think we hadn't seen a lot of our friends in a long time, and so everybody they got there at like 5:30, and we started drinking. Like, I mean, I take that back. We've been like tailgating or going over to watch parties and stuff with our friends and watching the Hawkeyes, and we go pretty hard. But for whatever reason, Halloween, because we made apple pie moonshine, and everybody brought over, it was a party, and so we started early, and we're old. We're on the bad half of 30, and so when you're like, "Hey, man, I'm coming over," and then it's like 11:30, half of the people had to like wake up at like, well, the Hawks played at 11 the next day, and so everybody was like, "Oh, we're gonna go to bed," and then Jason shows up, and I'm like, "All right, well, let's hang out in my kitchen and listen to the sweet sounds of snoring from like." My partners in crime or whatever. So I was embarrassed. I was hammered. I don't remember anything that happened really, except for that my wife told me that we taught you or we made you play Presidents and Assholes with us.
Yeah, and I was like,
I remember playing before he showed up. I don't remember playing with him. And so, yeah. And then like you messaged me the next day and said like, I'm good. Got home and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then I didn't hear from you for a week. And I was like, this kid's never going to talk to me again. Like I must have said something crazy outlandish or whatever, but no. I just don't think you're on Twitter.
No, like, I'm not on Twitter that much. And honestly, this week, like I didn't actually get around to seeing your message until like today because it's just this week has been, when Friday and Saturday occurred, I didn't think I was going to be, I was going through this week and thinking, okay, this week's going to be pretty relaxed and everything. And then I get to Monday, and Monday just starts off like, oh, okay, it set the tone for how this week is actually going to be. So, like, now I think I can, like, it's easy going until maybe, like, Sunday morning.
There you go.
But then again, Sunday morning will be the day after the Texas game, and who knows if the Cyclones will get the job done,
Listen. I don't want to jinx anything for you guys. I know I'm a very superstitious guy, and I wouldn't dare say anything, but it just kind of seems like things aren't going well for those Texas kids right now.
I would agree with that. And and
I think Cyclone Larry said it's going to be 70 degrees, like You know what I mean? Like Cyclone fans, it's going to be nice in the Midwest for everybody to get back out after like a hellacious couple weeks, like last 2 weeks. It's so cold. It's going to be like 66, 70 degrees. And then you add on this new like monkey gate thing or whatever in Texas. And like, they're, you know, I don't know. So I don't want to jinx anything, but it could be brutal.
Yeah, I mean, coming into Jack Trice Stadium is hard. Playing in Jack Trice Stadium is hard. The Hawkeyes make it seem easy every time, but it is difficult. And it's after, so because the Big 12 and ESPN have this wonderful contract of like, we're going to put it on ESPN Plus, I could not watch the game. I could not watch the Cyclone game. I watched the Hawkeye game. I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't remember exactly how it went. Did you guys lose? Who did you guys play? Who did you guys even play? Who was it? I forgot. I really don't know. I really don't remember.
We got destroyed by Wisconsin.
Okay.
It was awful at Wisconsin, but it should it was terrible.
Okay. See, you know, maybe it's either one, people haven't been talking about that game on Twitter, because usually I see what the Hawkeyes are doing after Twitter, or usually when I see on Twitter. But also another thing was maybe I just haven't been on Twitter this week. Maybe I haven't seen it.
That, and for better or for worse, I think that a lot of like the trend is if the Cyclones win and the Hawkeyes lose, that's all you're going to hear about online. But if they both lose, no one talks shit about anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, all right, we get it. No one's saying shit.
Did you watch any of the game? I did. I remember watching parts of the game, but I don't really remember. That's the thing.
The Hawkeyes or Iowa State?
Hawkeye game.
Yeah, so I slept. I missed the entire first half because actually I'm blaming you. You kept me up way too late the night before. You rapscallion. You scoundrel. It's your fault.
That's perfectly fair blame to put on me. That is perfectly fair.
And so they apparently did even worse in the first half than they did in the second half, which I watched the second, and I don't know how you could do worse. So yeah, I hungover watched the second half of Iowa Wisconsin from my bed, like bedridden, like literally on my deathbed, and I was just like, Jason, like every fucking 5 minutes. Truth.
Yeah, it's so I do want to apologize for showing up late, but I felt like an obligation because I did need to get you. There's a current NFL player that
almost wore it.
So I needed to get that to you because I promised that I was going to get that to you that day, and I also promised that I was going to be showing up to the party, but it's just like fucking Iowa State statistics fucked me over that Friday night, so that's why it took so long.
No, I was pumped. I was so happy that you came over. And like I said, if those people, so half of the party left, got an Uber, thank God. I mean, know, and then the other half stayed, which was the plan. If they weren't there, we probably just went all night. That's how I was feeling. But I just felt bad for those guys because we're literally, my apartment's not tiny, but like we were in the kitchen, you know, the kitchen's kind of the hangout area, and they were crashed in the living room, which is right there. Yeah. And I was just like, there's no way they're going to be able to sleep. Dude, I had your DM was like, hey, thanks for inviting me. I had a blast or something like that. And I was like, he's lying. There's no way he had a blast. I was way too fucked up. There's no way he had fun, but I seriously did. It was crazy meeting you. And then, you gave me a gift, which was amazing. And we'll have to talk a little bit about that maybe privately because I've got some gripes about the vendor that sold us that we got those from. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. No, like everything that I sent in my DM to you is genuine. I try to be as genuine as possible with everything that I say to anybody. And the reason, and you probably don't remember this because if you said you don't remember really me there at all, you before I left, I said, or you told me like, hey, let me know when you get back home. And so I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah. And so I'm gonna be true to my word. I'm going to let you know, like, you know, and all this stuff. I do feel bad for staying late because, you know, I noticed, but I don't want to blame your wife, but But your wife, I don't want to.
No, you go for it, baby. I love blaming her for shit. Let's go.
She was like, so I noticed that you were just like, you wanted to go to bed. But your wife was just so energetic and like, and I even said like, hey, let me know. Just kick me out whenever you need me to kick. You need to kick me out. Like I'm fine with whatever I need. What needs to happen here. And she's like, oh no, you're fine. And then you over here like, nah, man, you're good. You're good.
No, that's exactly what was going on. Yeah, no, that I love that because that's the truth. I was like, well, and the reason was, when I get drunk, I don't get. Thankfully, I think everybody who knows me would say this. I don't get like obnoxious. I don't get like over the top, like loud. The messy, sloppy drunks. I don't get that. I get really happy and I get kind of laid back. But the one thing that does go on in my mind is like, especially when I'm meeting somebody for the first time, is like, I don't want I don't want to embarrass myself.
Oh, that's like totally fair.
And so I'm one of my friends got up to go to the bathroom and then ended up in our room instead of one of the couches. And that's when I was like, you got to go, man. There's going to be piss everywhere. Yeah. This guy's going to start, you know what I mean? I was just using it as an excuse. Like he would never do that, but yeah.
The last thing you told me was, yeah, I think you should get going because he's kind of, because like your friend went to the bathroom and your wife told me like, oh, he's gonna pee. You said he's gonna pee all over the bathroom, and then I think somebody said that he was gonna pee backwards, like he was just gonna look at the toilet, turn the other way, and pee on the floor.
Nope.
And then your wife said like, oh, I've had to throw away rugs multiple times beforehand. I'm like, oh, okay. And then and then you were like, yeah, you should probably get going now. I'm like, no, I totally understand.
I should say, in case for whatever that person that we're talking about will never watch these. But if for some reason you're out there and you're watching this, we didn't throw rugs away because of you. She's just saying in general, we have had parties where, dude, it's ridiculous for whatever reason. We have, maybe this is a common thing.
It's a drunk thing. It's a drunk people thing. They miss where they pee for some reason.
Oh, dude, it's a guy thing too, where it's like, girls are either throwing up projectile vomiting all over your bathroom, or guys are just walking around like with the plugged hose hashtag.
Here's what I've known for drunk girls is either three options. One, they're super overly over the top trying to like grab anybody, and like it's super loud, happy, laughy. I could talk about that in December because December I have a story about something. There's two, they're like sloppy drunk sloppy drunk throwing up, or three, sloppy drunk not throwing up but crying on the floor because they're embarrassed or they got stood up or something. They find something to cry about, and this isn't a dig at women. It's just what I've noticed.
I've seen male friends of mine do all of those things you just fucking listed. So I'm not even sure if it's a gender thing, but yeah, I know you're talking about.
I haven't seen number 3, but I've seen number 1 and 2 where they're just like, there's loud or there's throwing up, but I've never seen male guy crying uncontrollably on the floor with their friends. I haven't seen that yet. What I have seen on the male side that I haven't seen on the women's side, so I guess for number 3 for male. So like 1 and 2 are similar. But 3, the fighting, aggressiveness, fighting over stupid shit. I was at a wedding one time, and everybody was coming down. I hope everybody was coming down. It was like hours. The wedding reception had gone on for hours. It was cleanup time. All of a sudden, these people are getting along during the wedding, and then when they're winding down, it's like I need to give some context. This is back in 2016, October 2016. So that matters a lot here. They're like, oh, Hillary, man, it's just fucking Hillary, just fucking shit. And then like another person's like, oh, Trump, man, he's like fucking shit. And like they're just kind of like yelling at each other about like politics. I'm like, dude, politics are the worst thing to talk about when you're drunk.
Now you want to do it?
After a wedding reception too. Like, oh man, like they argue about stupid shit. That's what men do. I haven't seen the crying thing, but you've seen the crying thing, and I trust that you've seen the crying thing. Skeedap has seen the crying thing a lot because he lived on an entire floor full of sorority girls, and quote, and even other people that I knew that lived on the floor said, quote, every single Thursday night. So basically, right about now. No, in an hour, about 11:50, you would hear screaming, crying, and like, oh, he did this, like not like assault, or not. There's no like none of that, but more like, oh, he left me, or he cheated on me, this, or like he, I don't know, some stupid shit, and like, oh god, you just hear it in the hallways, and like just outside their door, sitting on the floor, crying, eyeliner just kind of just crying down their, like they're just, girl, pick yourself up. Queen, you are a queen. You are better. You are a queen. This. Yes.
Yeah. I've got a great story about that. It's my wife. Before we were dating, here's a fun story. Well, side story. So, actually, I think we were just starting to see each other. My best friend and lead guitarist in the band I play in needed to move out of the place he was in Ames because they every year, or I don't know, maybe they don't do this anymore. But for a while there, as they were expanding Ames, every year your rent got up. They bumped it up every year. So I couldn't afford it. So we had to move to a new place. My girlfriend at the time needed to find a new place. I was living and working in Boone, so I couldn't move in with either of them. So I was like, all right, well, I trust both of you. Why don't you two live together? And it'll be like the weirdest Three's Company like remake of all time. And it worked out great. And anyway, it was like probably one of the first weekends they lived together. My friend and I were playing guitar and we're drinking wine or whatever. And my girlfriend's like, I want to jam with you. She plays cello.
I did not know.
And yeah, and so we were like, okay, let's do this or whatever. And she's not a drinker. Hey, yeah, I'm surprised you didn't see it when you came in.
There's a viola there. There are two violas there.
She has been drinking. We've all been drinking. She's not a drinker. So, maybe whatever. We all sit down to play. And for whatever reason, she just can't play. Like she'd had too many or whatever. And she'll laugh about it today. She'll tell you this story the exact same way. She's like, my buddy and I were like, I don't know. It's just not going to work out tonight. Maybe him and I will just play guitars or whatever. And she just turns to us and her eyes are filling up with water. And she's just like, I just wanted to jam. And us. Not that great of a story, but when you see a drunk girl crying,
yeah.
Like, I just wanted to jam. And like in that moment, they really mean it. Like she just wanted to fucking jam, man. And she's bummed out. And then the next day she was like, did I say anything weird? I'm like, nah, dude. Nah, it's great. It was adorable. It was adorable.
It's one of those things that, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal to her if she wasn't, or she was sober.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the joke of it is just like, what? Like I said, like what? Like, I don't care. Like you guys play all the time.
Like I remember yelling something at a bar in front of my family when I was drunk. And I remember this. I do remember. There's never been a time where I've gotten drunk and haven't remembered. So the thing I said was like, okay, so when I was dating somebody, and my brother was getting married, and his wedding was coming up, and so this person was gonna be my plus one, and my brother's fiance at the time, because they weren't technically married yet, we were all at the bar, family, all of us family were together, and sitting at a table, this large, big circular table. Is she coming to the wedding? I'm like, and my drunk ass is just like, yeah, she's coming. We're gonna rent a hotel. We're gonna fuck. We're gonna have a lot of sex. Her titties are just gonna be bouncing on. And then I remember this here. So my mom is sitting right next to me, and like this is stuff that I never really say.
You could have stopped at the hotel. Just be like, yeah, we're getting a hotel. Like people are like, yeah, all right, we get it.
Well,
then you just keep going.
I don't think they would have made that connection because actually the hotel was the option that was for the, like, how the weddings sometimes have wedding pages and then they have like accommodations or like whatever.
No, I get it. But you're Your line of reasoning went, she's coming. We're going to get a hotel. We're going to fuck.
Yeah.
Those big titties are going to be bouncing my face. It's like, yo, yeah, they get it.
and then my mom is sitting to the left of me, and I see her do this. She goes,
I'm going to have to turn my back on you, boy.
She turns around, and then I'm just like, the filter. Luckily, I'm not this way anymore. Luckily, I got my drinking problem controlled during the pandemic, but beforehand, I was a mess. So, but the other thing is, like, my cousin, he's a diehard Cubs fan, and I was wearing a Cardinals hat, I believe, at the time.
I love your cousin. I don't know what it is. I just like him. So, go ahead.
Cubs. He's like he loves the Cubs, but if the Cubs aren't in the playoffs, he's rooting for the Astros. So they're.
I don't know. Questionable cousin. I don't know if I like.
There you go. I was gonna say, there you go. But he was like, yeah, you're like, oh man, you're a Cubs fan now, right? Because as soon as after I said that, whatever, I think everybody knew, like, oh, he's gone. Like, we can say whatever. It's like, oh, you're a Cubs fan now. I'm like, no, fuck the Cubs. Cubs. I'm like, Cubs fans get fucked in the ass. They're like, they like anal. I'm yelling it out in a bar, by the way. And I'm just like, oh man, did I really say this? Like, I'm not gonna say I regret saying it because it's all fun and games and stuff like that. But it's not the greatest things to say in a bar either, especially in front of your family.
Yeah.
So it's just there's the alcohol. Like, we do things when we're under the influence that we wouldn't normally do when we're sober.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was worried about. I thought you and I. Well, okay. I don't know if you guys had a show last week.
No, we didn't. We were both busy.
But the week before I was on, and I've watched it twice now on YouTube. Actually, I love it. I think it's the best episode because it goes there, kind of. You know great. What I mean? It goes there, and a lot of things. My point is, I felt after rewatching that episode that I would make some off-color jokes, like in front of you when you're here or whatever. And then, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but when you're drinking and you do that thing, the next day you go, holy shit, like, how did it land? You don't have the kind of that tell of the other
awareness.
It's wiped away. And so, I'm asking my wife, like, dude, did I say anything crazy? Or if I did he laugh? Or did I say it in front of somebody else? And they're like, what's your problem? Or, so I think I get really like in my head about that stuff. Like, I don't necessarily black out. Maybe
brown out,
but that means you shit yourself. And
that's a different term in electrical engineering.
And it's a nurse term too. So yeah.
Yeah. Code brown.
But it's definitely like snapshots of the night,
Yeah.
Here's a question. Did we hug? Did I hug you at the end of the night?
At the end of the night, yes. Yes.
I always okay. I apologize if that was too far.
No.
I do that with fucking everybody. You're lucky you didn't get kissed on the cheek because I do that shit all the time with males.
When you're sober or when you're drunk?
Yes.
Okay.
Normally drinking, when I'm drinking.
Yeah, I it's actually, so you hugged me twice. So you hugged me first. And I was like, oh man, that it was great. It was a good bro hug. Like, it's like a typical bro hug. And then your wife comes over to me and this guy wants to hug me. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like really scared. Like, I don't know I don't know what to do. It was the Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I don't know if I wrap my arms around you or not. I'm just like, I'm not sure. But like with you, I'm just like, we're bros. Like, we could embrace in that broness. Like, we could be what's the quote? We could be gay for each other is the whole like that, because it's the bro thing.
Yeah. No, and you're right. You do have to treat that like every instance is going to be different, obviously. But like with us, it's everything's open. I mean, she's from fucking Dallas. Like, she's from the South, so. And she's taken to like Midwest culture like very well, so it's very like, what do you need? Like, we're gonna put hands on you, man. Like,
Does she say ope
which is a weird thing. No,
she's
she doesn't say ope. She says ope a lot more than she ever did, but I say y'all like that I'm more comfortable with. Like it fucking hurts my feelings how much much she's converted me or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. Yeah, you have to watch yourself when you're like hugging someone else's partner or like what you do. But normally if like I would say if like the guy initiates it, like and then like the wife like comes up like, dude, especially with Kathy, my wife's name's Kathy. Kathy's very like, squeeze me, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same feeling, the same kind of like rhyme and reason that you say about like with us, where like, hey, we're bros. Kathy's very much like that. She's like old school tomboy type. Like, that's where her mindset is, which is probably why she was like, fuck that, stay. You know what I mean? We got a fucking couch and fuck that shit. We'll go, so that's her.
I got that impression that she was kind of like, with the bros kind of thing too. But it's like, it's my sign of respect kind of thing that I do.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't like.
At least the first time. You have to do that the first time. The second time, then you're like, okay, I get it. Like, I know where the boundaries lie. Like,
I think even additional things. If you try to do that again, I'd probably just also be like, I don't know what to put my hands. Like, I don't know how to. Because
guys, you go up top.
Yeah, that's what.
Right.
Here's
shoulders.
Here's what I did. So say the water bottle is her, and like so like I kind of just like went. I went like this, like I put my forearm like, and I just like lightly tapped her back. I was like, I don't even want to like put my hands on you. I was kind of just like, I was really just like, good. I was like,
it was a Halloween party. I went mummy. Like,
well,
she hugged me.
I remember exactly what I said because she came up to me, approaching me for a hug. I'm like, oh, are we doing this? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think I remember that.
I was just like. Just like I do that with everybody, like though. I do that with every woman. I was kind of just like, because I have a lot of respect for boundaries with women, and especially because like, hey, this is somebody's wife. Like this is somebody's wife, and I'm not sure how he's gonna feel about this, and so I'm just like, I'm gonna be precaution. I'm gonna take precautions here, and just be like, I'm pretty sure my face was probably just like. I think that was my face. Whereas with you, I'm like, oh, get in here, man, get right. And I was like rubbing your back.
Okay, see, good. Now that makes me feel good because I felt like I was like, I know I hugged him. Like, was he like, dude? First off, COVID, and secondly, like, I had just met you.
We're
like,
vaccinated.
What is, I know it, but even that, I had
the flu beforehand, yeah.
And but I'm just always. I'm not like that when I'm sober, but like I said, like that night, like good Lord, we really, it's totally fine that you showed up at the time that you did. I wish it would have worked out either way. Like we would have started later or you would have showed up earlier because I think you would have loved my friends. We would have got along. And plus it wasn't like, I don't want the first time meeting somebody to be like the lamest thing you can think of. Yeah. You know what I mean? All the lights are off. People are sleeping. There's no more I'd turn the music up. You know what I mean? Like all that shit. So, well, hey, it sounds like you had a great time, Jason. Let's start.
It was very ideal for me because I'm one of those people that's like likes very chill, kind of like if parties are kind of just like we chill out, hang out, and not like super aggressive, loud, everything. You mean like full on house parties? Full on house parties aren't really my thing, especially if it's like the first one. I think it's just part of like maybe I have social anxiety. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And it was never like that. It was kind of in between what it was when you showed up and like the rager. It was like a nice happy medium.
Yeah, and that's where if I would fit in too. Like there's a line that I draw where it's just like I feel kind of weird like right here. I was like this just isn't me. I'm not standing on rooftops dancing with naked women shotgunning a bush.
No.
Yeah.
Dude, have you ever been on a party bus?
I haven't actually, no.
Okay, so like have you ever been to like bachelor parties or like
I haven't been to
strip clubs and shit like that?
No.
I hate that shit. Like I don't like it. Like it's not fun. I'm not trying to be cute or be like I'm a good guy. Like Scout's honor. Like I fucking hate it. Like And it's the same with like big parties. Like back when I was like college age and we would come over and party at house parties at Ames. And it's just like, I mean, literally you're just like trying to slip through.
And you're yelling at everybody just to hear them. Like you're sitting right next to each other and you're yelling in somebody's ear to like literally in their ear, like right here, trying to like.
I hate it. Them. Like I'm a fish out of water when it comes to that. Like I'm the type of guy who can get up on stage and sing in front of strangers. But if I'm at a fucking like party and I just like shut in, I'm the corner guy. Like I don't, you know, and people misconstrue that as like, oh, he's standoffish, he's being a dick, and it's like, no, dude, I'm seconds away from a panic attack. I'm floating right now. Like,
I have actually kind of an interesting story about it. So the party that happened in the one party that I went to for a Christmas party that was in December of 2018. There were a lot of, so it was like the same party it was the same place that I had been to a month prior for a Halloween party. But like when I opened that door, it was like, I don't recognize anybody here. Like I actually thought like, am I at the right party? Like, did I open somebody else's door? Like it was like immediately from the get-go, I'm like, I feel uncomfortable here. And then there was this girl there who was super, super drunk that I knew, and we had a thing at the time, but still it made me uncomfortable that with how intoxicated she was. She came up to me, she's like, Jason, I'm very drunk right now. And she's like, come. It's like she had like grab hands and like so I was just standing in the corner. She's like she's a submarine or whatever that just with radar. Where's Jason? Like swimming through these people, and like people are like, yo, she's looking for you. I'm like, not in the mood right now for this right now. I feel a little bit weird. I'm just gonna stand in the corner over here. And she's like, where's Jason? And like people are, we'll protect you. There's like a line of 6 people in this corner. They form like basically, you know, like have you ever heard of like the Civil War Stonewall's Last Stand or whatever it was? Yeah. Like just a line. That's really what 6 people formed this line, this radial line around me, and like just like trying to protect me. And like this girl, like, Jason, and she just busts right through, like Red Rovers this shit, like through this line of people. I'm like, oh god, I don't know what to do here. She's like grabbing my ass, and I'm like, I'm getting sexually assaulted here. This is not good. And the thing is, she doesn't remember this, so that made it even worse.
Yeah. That sucks. I've had that where there was a girl who was into me. This is way, way back in the day. And I was at a bar, one of the like local clubs in small town Boone where I'm from, that we would play shows all the time. And for whatever reason, she was into me, and she was like just a bad drunk. And like one night we went there to see another band, and I'm standing with like 4 of my guy friends. She like, kind of like the same scenario. She walks in and stuffs her hands down my pants, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, and then what do you say? You can't say, if you say anything the next day, I don't know if she like would remember it or not or whatever, but it's just like, this is like ridiculous. And I mean, these are tight pants. Like you really had to go for it. You know what I mean?
Jesus. Man.
This wasn't like the 90s with like the giant
the parachute pants,
right? Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's tough. And dude, I fully realize that we're a couple of guys talking about getting sexually harassed by women. Like, I'm okay. I'm fine.
I'm fine too. It wasn't great to be in that moment. It wasn't great.
No,
it doesn't haunt me to this point.
I guess I'm glad that I went through that, because then after that, you kind of realize like, ew, did I ever do something like, not obviously not grab somebody, but like even verbally, or like, did I creep somebody out? So,
yeah. But so that, and you know, smaller gatherings with people that you actually know are a lot better because you actually know how to act. It's not like, and some people also, I feel like they get so nervous at these parties that they drink a fuck ton. They drink way too much, and more than they can really handle, or more than they normally do, and then they start doing stupid shit. That same party that I was at, somebody broke a door. They they were dancing. They were trying to get low, and then they got off balance. They fell into the door.
They fell into the window.
They fell into the wall, and they broke this door off of the actual like frame. Like they didn't just take the door off the frame; they took the frame off the wall. Because the door wasn't supposed to open that way. And I remember watching this in slow motion. I'm like, oh boy, she's the owner, the person that was at this apartment. It was a university apartment, but like, she's probably not going to be too pleased to wake up the next morning and see that there's a door off there's a frame off the wall.
No, okay. I've woken up and like knocked over like a candle on a countertop and had like the wax, like the melted wax, like dried from the next morning, and been like, my whole life is ruined. I can't imagine waking up and I went to school with a bunch of tough guys and shit. Like I've seen, like you wake up the next day and there's like holes punched in the drywall and shit like that. You're like, holy fuck, that's crazy. A door frame like ripped out.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to see, I actually have. I'm gonna pull up this photo real quickly and share it with you and with anybody that watches this on YouTube or whoever's watching this live. Because I have this. I have the photo of. I took a picture. I took a picture of myself in front of it, and then my girlfriend at the time, who was the one who grabbed my ass and my dick that night. It was like, oh, you forgot me. I gotta be in this photo too. And so we took a photo of the two. But I'm gonna show you the one where she's not in it to protect identity and all for obvious reasons too. So I'm gonna show this with you first, and you might be able to see it. And I'm gonna show this with the audience here. Screen sharing. So Chocoloco here. He knows about he doesn't know about this because he wasn't at the university at the time, but he lives in the unit next to. He lives in the unit next to when this happened. So you can see this though, right? Yeah, you can see that this frame is off of the door, the wall right here. So let me see, like right up here. I don't know if you can see that. So here's the door.
Yep.
Here's the door. Here's the frame. The frame is just pushed inwards. So like that's not supposed to be where it's supposed to be.
It reminds me of the do you watch I Think You Should Leave?
Yeah, with I forget his name. Tim Robinson?
Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's the first skit of the first season where he's like meets a new boss at a restaurant and then he like goes to leave and it's like a push out door and he like pulls it in, like he like rips.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I think my favorite I Think You Should Leave episode is the one where the pants. You gotta donate, man. You gotta donate.
Oh yeah, piss dots or whatever.
Yeah, I forget what the pants are called. You gotta donate.
I was gonna be for Halloween this year. Kathy and I went as Elliot and Gertie, and then our dog Delilah was E.T. But I was gonna be, oh my god, I'm such an idiot. It's from season 2, Carl Havoc. It's like the second or third skit. It's where he dresses up as an old man and goes to a mall, and then he gets it's like a prank show.
I don't think I've seen this one actually. This sounds like Eric Andre.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious. He gets like they put him in like an old man mask and like hair and like a muscle suit and like it's crazy. And he gets to the mall.
I have seen. Yeah, no, I have seen that one.
It's the memes are like
yeah.
I don't even want to be around anymore. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
He gets there and he's like, we did too much. We put too much fucking shit on me.
Yeah.
I had a mask and everything like lined up,
having
but
a full-on crisis.
That's what I was gonna be for Halloween, but like Amazon was gonna deliver it like November 2nd, so I couldn't pull it off. But
man, these shipping delays that the pandemic caused,
these delays, man.
Rough, man, rough. I'm just glad that so I bought some Aaron Jones. What were these called? Aaron Jones, running back for the Packers. Amazon. Somebody in the Discord sent this to me. It was touchdown squares, I think either. It's basically Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but it's reskinned as a Green Bay Packers Aaron Jones. And I guess this company makes a bunch of different like food products for football players. Somebody has, I think it's God, I don't remember his name. Somebody has a hot sauce, but like, you know, it was like, man, these are kind of funny. These are funny. Speaking of the pandemic, though, I do want to ask you, if I may. So you're a musician. You're a musician, right?
Sure.
How did the pandemic? I mean, we're still kind of are in the pandemic, but we're at the tail end of one now. Luckily, how did that affect what you do, and how is it currently affecting? If it still is affecting you?
Yeah. So first off, it affected everybody all the time. So like, I mean, you talk about where we play is like restaurants and bars. So that was done. I'm going to say this kind of sarcastically and truthfully at the same time. Luckily, we live in a red state that didn't necessarily shut down all the way. Now, we can argue whether or not we should have or shouldn't have. But we were given the opportunity because of that to start getting back into things. The problem was at the venues that we went to were only going to pay us half of what we would normally make. And the word on the street is that bands would go to play and no one would show up. Everybody was too scared to go to a venue, so there wouldn't be any audience besides the staff, and they would shut you down after like an hour. So we really have taken a hit to the point where I'm still in touch with all the guys in my bands, but we haven't played for a long time. We don't have any shows booked. I have tons of other friends that are in the, I don't want to say music industry, that are in bands, and they decided that they wanted to continue throughout the entire thing, and they've done it, and they're still doing it. And I think that's great. We have a couple, like, to not get into too many details. The band that I'm in has a couple of different reasons why we wouldn't jump right back into it. So we're just trying to like respect everybody's specific situations, and slowly, but hopefully surely get back into it. So yeah, when you ask how has it affected and is it still? Yes, like definitely. Like we haven't got together for band practice for what seems like maybe 2 years now, almost, because of it. Yeah. Which is partially, it's not all the pandemic's fault, you know. Obviously, we just had a Halloween party. It's not like vaccines happened. As far as I know, everybody in my band got vaccinated. So it's just kind of where we're at right now. We all talk, it's just a weird hiatus. I think everybody went through that, but like when you're entertainment, it's even it's a weird niche community that you're in.
That's why I want, because I asked you because you have this direct perspective, and I'm really interested in how like what do you like? Honestly, did you have the feeling? Because I'm just trying to think about if I were in that scenario, because I was in an orchestra. If I chose to go the entertainment performing arts route, I would kind of just be like, well, what do I do now? Like, really, I would be super lost and just like, what now? Like, really, what now? And like, how do I recover from this? Yeah,
luckily, I think I'm pretty.
I mean, it's a difficult question to answer, so you could stop me at any time.
No. It's a great question. For better or for worse, I'm a pretty content person with things. There's a lot of people, I think, that everybody's got friends and family that were like, it's kind of fucked up to say, but they're like, I loved it. I love the pandemic. You tell me I don't have to go to these I don't have to do these things anymore. I don't have to go outside. I'm kind of half and half on that. I was built for a pandemic. Like, it just worked out mentally. I think everybody got very depressed, and I'm sure I would include myself in that, but like not anywhere near what other people were going through. I mean, my wife works in an ICU with COVID patients. I really focused. My job from there on out was like focusing on her, like mental health, and it was just like, we'll just get through it. We'll get through it this way.
Massive props to her. I respect her a lot for that, man.
Dude, there's so much shit that, like,
both figuratively and literally.
Yeah. Code Browns all the time. There's so much shit that those people go through. Like, they don't need a fucking pandemic to have serious, like, shit weighing on them all the time. But then they add, we're going to add it, so. And she works at like one of the major hospitals in Des Moines and in the units. And so she saw some shit and it was real. So does it suck that my happy music time friends thing didn't work out? Yeah, it sucks. But comparatively, I'm just like, fuck. Like, if we can pay the rent and get to opening back up safely and getting back into things, then I'll be okay.
And I like that. I like that insight, and I like the mindset that you have there. That's actually really.
But it's also kind of like, what else are you gonna do? I don't. You're fucking trapped. Everybody was trapped for the longest time, and I was actually lucky enough to be okay with it mentally and financially. Be okay. We were okay, so it was just like, all right, well, that's that.
I got stuck in Illinois during the pandemic for a good 3 months, because I went home for spring break, and that Tuesday, I think it was that Tuesday or Wednesday following spring break, Illinois shut down, and so I'm like, well, okay, I literally cannot leave. I cannot leave my house, and my mom is a healthcare worker, and so like I could have come back to the university. I could have come back to my apartment. I had roommates at the time, so I was like, I could have come back earlier, but because my mom is a healthcare worker, I don't want to potentially be an asymptomatic carrier of anything, like, because I'm living in the same household as them. I don't want to bring it to Iowa. I don't want to bring it to Ames. But for you, I mean, it's really interesting. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's more of like your focus shifted away from, I don't really care about the music right now. I care about my was it your fiance at the time? I don't know.
Yeah.
Fiance? Okay, yeah. I care about my fiance's well-being, and I'm gonna be the rock that she needs right now. So you had a I'm not gonna call it distraction, but you had a secondary motivation, or like you could easily shift your focus to something else.
Yeah, and it was also reciprocal because I wasn't able to go make money, you know what I mean, a way that I could. And so, yeah, it's not like I was, it was just kind of, it was, I'm not some fucking hero that's like, hell man, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be your rock or whatever. Like, yeah, that shit's easy for me to do. And while I'm doing that for her, she's paying the bills. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of how it landed. And we both have great families, and so everything, I'm sure everybody kind of has a similar story. Like it's just the 5-10 years from now, the documentary is going to be lit. Yeah. Think of it, like, it's going to be weird. The studies that come out of how not only adults, but like how children like developed from this. Like, I don't know what the fuck I don't know what it's going to be. But it's going to be wild. We're going to look back on it, and like the narrative may be completely different by then, but hopefully we'll all have a better understanding. Like, what the fuck did we just go through? Yeah. Or and I'm not taking away the severity of what happened, but I also like, are we entitled? I have grandparents who like fought in World War II. Like, for me to bitch and moan about watching Tiger King on Netflix, like, people died, man, and it wasn't just the flu. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, I'm like, I didn't go fight overseas. It's a battle I have in my mind. It's like, I don't know. Like I said, 5-10 years from now, the documentary is gonna be fucking crazy.
I have a
if there is one.
I have a little bit of guilt about that though too, because I wasn't. I say I went home for spring break. I did, but I wasn't a student at the time. That was during my off semester. And so what was I doing when I was, actually at the time of, just before the pandemic, I was working on a music project. I was working on a visual and music project. And then, so I feel a little bit selfish about that because like, what was I doing at my parents'? I was lucky to be at my parents' house, but what was I doing? Laying on my couch all day watching YouTube videos. What was it doing during the night? Drinking Bud Light and playing Grand Theft Auto 5 on my computer. And then what would I do later on? I would watch House on Amazon Prime. Like, I did absolutely nothing. I did absolutely jack shit to contribute to the pandemic other than I stayed home. That's the only thing. I mean, that's the only contributing factor that I had is that I played it safe.
But you had a lot of... I mean, I would say, goddamn, over half the country would say that's exactly what they... The healthcare heroes, my wife included, those people wanted you to do exactly that. Like, that was our role during that time. So, yeah, exactly. It's conflicting. You're like, what did I do, or was it that bad? Or for me, should I say that I'm depressed over something like that? Like, it wouldn't take away from anybody's actual depression, but like. Personally, I start thinking like that. Like, I start getting a little in my head going, yeah, I don't feel so great, but I mean, compared to what? Like, I had to sit around and jerk off for 9 months. I mean, if we didn't have this, which is, we were playing Jackbox with people. Like, we were, and I got into podcasting with you guys. So yeah, there was a lot of shitty things that happened. And like, knock on wood, like I got lucky, like a lot of bad shit didn't happen to me directly. A lot of bad shit happened to like other people directly, but like a lot of good things came out of it too. Like I met you and Finn, like it's great. It's great to meet new people. Like we probably would have never, I started Circleherk because of that. So I've met like a lot of people through that. Like I probably would have, if you had to pick global pandemic versus followers, obviously I'm going to pick like no pandemic. Yeah. But there are good relationships that came out of it. So
and excuse me, as my student organization, I'm a leader of a student organization here on campus, and one of my roles is
quit bragging.
I apologize. One of the big things that I have to do is I have to connect students in our department, or I try to connect students with our department with the companies and engineering companies and everything like that. The silver lining that I've mentioned this a bunch of times. You could say I will say whatever I want about the pandemic, and I will fully I will stay. I still have this mindset. It was awful. The pandemic was absolutely awful, but there are silver linings that come out of it. Not everything was bad. If you just see it as just everything is bad, be careful because that can lead to a slippery slope of other things that come down the line. If you find there's always the they say in therapy, you got to find one good thing, small victory. I've told this to people. I have a friend that's currently going through a breakup, and I told her, hey, small victory. Like, I know you want to get like, and that's the thing. I think that a lot of us have, still plenty of us. I'm not saying you or I, but like a lot of the general population has is like, damn, I want to get back to normal. I want to get back to full stadiums and full concerts, and I want to get back to doing stupid shit and large crowds with my friends and everything. Like yeah, that's fine, but we gotta get there first. We gotta phase ourselves back into it, and that's what I was telling her. Like you're not gonna be, if your goal is to be the exact same person you were before this happened. Like you're not gonna do well, and so. Small victory here from the long story short. Small victory here from the pandemic is that virtual meetings are a possibility. So it allows for greater accessibility. Same with here with what we're doing. I'm able to communicate and do a podcast stream with somebody from in Nebraska. I'm able to do it with somebody who lives in Illinois. I'm able to do it with somebody who has lived in California, who currently lives in California. I'm able to do it with you, who lives about 4 miles away. So, but it's there's a silver lining about things. Companies don't have to spend that money. You don't have to spend that money to come to my apartment. I don't have to spend that money to go to your apartment. I don't have to spend that money to drive down to Nebraska every single week. How mentally and physically taxing that could be to drive down to Omaha, Nebraska from Ames every single week. So there's a silver lining about it. We have these virtual things, and that's the nice thing about it. That is the nice thing.
It's also like a double-edged sword too. Especially, I don't know the details, and obviously don't get into it. It's personal, but just in general, somebody who's going through a breakup, that feeling that you have of emptiness and things are never going to get better, and they were the one, and now I'm lost. I'm just spinning out of control into the ether. The reason you have that is because the love part was so good. And you only probably will realize that when you find that love again and you go, oh shit, this can just happen or whatever. It's not that it's not special, that there's plenty of fish in the sea and blah, blah, blah.
That's a terrible statement, by the way.
It's because it is special. And when it happens, and it will, if she's listening or whatever, that it will happen. And, I think maybe you probably grasp onto it more and appreciate it more, and it's almost like it. I don't know. This is stupid to say, but it's how I believe it's true. You go through those bad things so that you can recognize the good things. When they hit, they really fucking hit, dude. And I think a pandemic, that shit sucks, but there are little victories, like you're saying. There are silver linings, and it's great. It will be great.
And I'm looking forward to actually having your band return to the stage. And I bet a lot of people in that, because you sent me some videos. You guys are rock. You guys, man. I'm not saying this because I seriously. A lot of people or some people, and this is totally justifiable why they think this. Think that, oh, I'm just being nice, or I'm complimenting you because you're my friend or that. That's not the case. I'm actually going to tell you, hey, if something isn't working, or if something isn't great.
But you're a music guy, so I don't want you blowing smoke. You're the type of guy to tell me.
The videos that you've shown to me is damn, I want to see this guy live. I just thought about this just now. I thought, man, your guys' band is something that I feel because my family, we love going out to. There's a specific band that somebody that was in my orchestra with. She's in a band now in the Quad Cities, and my family. It's not just my immediate family, and extended family and their friends want to go see this band. I'm thinking, oh man, you guys would also fall in that category. Man. I know for sure that they would really enjoy seeing you guys because we usually, when we go out to bars, and every time I'm in town, back home, my family will ask me oh, hey, is this band playing at this bar? Because we're thinking about going out. I don't know, let me go check. So I feel it would be the same thing for your guys, and I'm not just trying to suck your dick here or anything like that. It truly is from what I've heard, it truly is if they see you, they're gonna it's gonna be one of those bands that they want to go see whatever you guys are playing. And I'm the same way. I genuinely hope that you guys come back, and if you guys come back, and when you guys come back, I hope I'm still in Central Iowa so that I can be there, because I'm damn, I gotta see this.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's we were definitely really in our stride there for a while. We were playing every weekend or every other weekend, pretty much either in Ankeny or Des Moines or some small satellite town around there, getting a little bit of followers. And yeah, that band, the clips that I showed you, is a cover band who plays 60s British pop rock songs. And so it is it kind of lends that sound just kind of lends itself to bars and like places like that. But we were a little bit more up tempo than some of our the other bands that do that. Like we're a little bit more rock heavy or punk heavy. Like we played a little bit faster. So we're definitely ready to go. And actually, I'll probably off air at some point. I'll send you some of the stuff that so that's like a cover band. I mean, like a few different things. I'll send you some of the stuff that like our actual, like we wrote and recorded or whatever. We recorded, I think, at least 10 songs.
Are they complete or just demos?
They're rough. They need to be mixed and mastered,
Okay.
but they're at the Sonic Factory studio in Des Moines, which I don't know if the same place is still. There's a couple Sonic Factory studios because they have different owners, or they have the same owners that moved. So I don't know if it's like the same place, but anyway, I'll send you that shit. See if you like that, because that's like those aren't covers. Those are things like I wrote with my buddy that I was talking about earlier and like recorded. And
those are hard to introduce to an audience, because like audiences only
they want to hear the hits.
Yeah, they only want to hear stuff that they know.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, because as somebody with a creative mind as I am, also who understands music, it really sucks, because if you go to any sort of like anything online, if you go to a subreddit or that and like somebody posts their music, or if you like go on Twitter and somebody posts their music, it's like it could be like, I'll say like Austin J. Roberts, very famous. Well, I consider to be very famous Iowa Hawkeye Twitter person, because he gets a lot of. I'm judging this based off of how many likes he gets.
Oh yeah.
So if he were to all of a sudden drop like a mixtape, do you really think that many people would actually watch it or listen to it? That's the thing. So like,
it's tough. It really has to like, and I don't know. It's the music industry changed so much in the like 2000s. And then it just recently changed again. So it's like fucking like internet, like whatever you want to call them, like Instagram.
SoundCloud artists is what they call them.
SoundCloud artists, yeah. Like, dude, it's even changed again. Like TikTok is like, which is ridiculous.
I have a full-on rant about the music industry, actually.
Okay, well, so Finn is not here, but he wanted us to talk about kind of the differences between a live musician versus somebody who's like into the engineering side / producer side of it. So this may dovetail perfectly into that. But what's your gripe about the TikTok thing?
My gripe about music now is that there's so. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the technology. I love the music technology. I took every single music technology course at my university. And I would have minored in music technology if it wouldn't have added another semester. Basically, I have to take one class to fulfill the minor because of the way the minor works. Like, yeah, I could take all the music tech courses, but I also need to have other supplementary courses. And I was like, I just can't take those because they just won't count for some things. There's a long, elaborate thing about it. I don't need to get into it because it's pretty complicated. But I thoroughly enjoy the technology behind it, and it's been great.
My dipshit musician brain couldn't handle it. I think to answer Finn's question, that's the difference. I'm not big into like music theory and like how shit works. I'm just the idiot who sees that the E chord it looks like the color red to me, man. You know what I mean?
And that's fine. Like, I have absolutely no problem with people like not knowing theory or anything. Like, I took one music theory course here at the university. I've taken a total of 5 music courses at the university, along with my background in orchestra, which is starting this year. No, it would have been October of last year. Was the first time I ever really played a stringed instrument, or really. And a quick story to lead into this. I joined my orchestra in 7th grade in 2010, fall of 2010. I had absolutely no idea how to play it. Didn't even know what to do. Didn't even know how to read music. And so that I spent 6 years in high school, and before college, studying music, and then I did some more studying up on it here. But my theory isn't the way some other students are. Some other students live and breathe theory, and it's like, I'm sorry, I just can't do that because one, I have too many other things to worry about, and two, you're weird. That's just like I don't like super nerdy smart people. Like, if you're smart, that's cool, but if you're like super nerdy smart to where it controls your life and that's the only thing you could talk about, is like, yeah. But anyway,
God bless them.
Yeah, more power.
We need you.
Yes.
We need you. It takes all to run this motherfucking ship. So let's go.
I have no problems with people that don't know theory making music. What I have problems with is people that don't know how to make music. Just don't, because we have the technology now that you can know absolutely nothing about music, and the technology will do it for you, or somebody that knows what they're doing will do it for you. Like, you don't have to be good at all. Like, seriously, when I was doing my music projects, and I have a bunch of demos from December 2019 to March 2020. There's a lot of the things I couldn't do live. I wouldn't be able to do live because what can I do when I'm in my home studio, which is my apartment that's not soundproofed or anything like this? I can quantize, and quantizing is basically a computer takes your note input and it aligns it perfectly to a time, like we'll say 4/4 time, common time. If you're offbeat, you can I'll quantize that shit to be on time, and so it'll just play it perfectly. And then you also have the luxury of Control Z. I'll undo this and do another take. It's so easy. It's so easy to do. And my issue with that is that, and it's become so accessible. And the problem that I have is the accessibility of it too. It's become super accessible that I don't think it should be as accessible as it is, because it's getting into the wrong hands, I would say. It's a long, elaborate rant that I have, and it could be...
Who's the wrong hands?
The wrong hands are the people that aren't passionate about music. The ones that are doing it just for, I'm going to use the Gen Z term, for clout. The ones that are just doing it for money, the ones that are just doing it for popularity. I'm one of those people that's like, everything that I do has to have some sort of deeper meaning to it, which is why a lot of people hate me. But I like, it's true. But because they're always just see things for what they are, man. Just stop ruining the fun about things. That's what people are sometimes. But I gotta see, if I'm gonna be doing something I'm passionate about, I gotta be looking deeper into it. I want to be doing more with it. And the wrong hands to me are the people that really, really have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Really have it's not even just like they don't know what they're doing. It's just like they don't even have a sliver of what they're doing. They're just like, oh man, I heard this on the radio, let's do something like this, or I saw this on SoundCloud, I heard this on SoundCloud, saw this on Instagram, can you do this for me, can you do this for me? And they're just god awful. They're god awful.
Yeah.
Which is why I like live musicians. I love listening to live bands. I actually prefer listening to live albums over studio albums, because studio albums are just so... They're so perfect. And I don't like things that are perfect. I like things that have imperfections in them.
I like I like perfection, because then when you get to hear a live thing or a live album, I love the way that it changed, the change of well, I couldn't do that what I did on the record, so this is how I do it live. I love both of those things, which is a fence-sitting thing, but sonically I like it. It's pleasing to my ears to hear live bands or bands that like have it's this way on the album. Well, I mean but that's also where I am too. I'm a musician who plays in a cover band. We don't play them exactly like the record. We didn't write the song. That's not our song. It's our flavor on the song, and I think that's probably what like appeals to you or people that listen to us like in the past. Is they're like, I've had people come up to me like during breaks, like because we'll play we'll play 3 hours with two breaks in between. All people come up to me during the breaks and say like, "That's interesting, you know that's not how it is on the record, but it worked." And then I'll have people that come up to me and they're like, "That's not how the solo went. You need to talk to your lead guitarist and tell him that's not how it's like, ooh, you're that's too bad. You're missing out on something that happened. You know what I mean? Because it's not, I think Beethoven was very like metal, like pre-metal, where it was like it's math, very mathematical. And I respect the shit out of stuff like that. Like I can't do that. But there's something that you're missing when you just like disregard that type of style or whatever.
Yeah, if I wanted to hear things perfectly, I would go back and listen to the album. Why would you go to a live concert if you just want to hear the album? So I'm with you there. Like I'm with you. The like don't get me wrong. I like yeah. They say it's a more intense feeling when live. Somebody in chat has said, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. It's Q'd? K-E-W-T-D. I apologize. Help me out with here if you could. It's a more intense feeling when live. Say Q. Okay, Q. Yeah, I appreciate this. I appreciate them helping me out with this.
That's exactly.
Like I'll just call him Q then.
I'm gonna call you Cutie D. I'm gonna call you Cutie D.
Circleherk would just call you Q to D. I'll call you Q. Yeah, it's a more intense feeling with live, and I was actually listening when I was on campus. I was listening to a live version of a song, and what I love about I'll drop their band name, 9 Inch Nails, and I was listening to a Linkin Park concert last night. Also, I was like, what I love about these bands is that they have alternate versions of their the album songs that they play live. So like, okay, it'll be an alternate intro, or they'll make an addition here, or they'll add another break in here, or they'll change the chord here, they'll change the key. I'm not a big fan of changing the key. Like if they just change the key, it's kind of boring.
Unless you're like a band who's like been around for like 40 years and you're getting older.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, if you can't, if you can't hit the high D, you have to. The only note, the highest note you can hit now is a high A. Then I understand dropping the key. But if you're just changing the key just to change the key, kick them while they're down. That's so cute. Your QDD is kick them while they're down.
That's a cool name. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I'm a pacifist. All right. So like if someone's down, I'm going to probably like help them up. Maybe hug them, maybe kiss them. I mean, ask Jason.
You're not going to code brown on them while they're down?
But that's a cool name. My name's Circleherk, so you know what I mean? Like it's not all fucking great.
Mine is just an abbreviation.
Thanks for coming in, by the way. This is great. This is exactly why I don't know where you came from. My dude,
I apologize if you came in.
You are now a part of the show. That's why I love this podcast. Look at me now, Mom. I too started out in chat, and so thanks for being with us. You are now a part of the show, so keep talking to us.
We will respond to your comments, and we like engaging with our viewers. First off, though, if you came because of the title, I apologize. I intend on getting to that.
Are you talking about hockey over here?
Dude, this has bothered me. Hockey's bothered right now, but I will get to that because I want to finish talking about the music part here.
I'm working on my Trump.
Wait, no, it's
what a loser! What a loser!
Alec Baldwin, the one.
Oh, well, listen, I'm not talking. I mean, I'm not talking about Alec Baldwin here. It's
The
just
Alec Baldwin Trump.
tough time. Tough time for Baldwin.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. That's yeah.
Anyway, music.
Yes. So, Trump is the 45th president of the United States of America.
Who's Trump?
Yes. So,
Good for you. Good for you.
I remember
Donald
who
Trump.
he is.
I mean, that's awesome.
Anyway, so
I just missed it. I didn't see it.
So what was Finn's question again about? What was he asking about?
I will actually look it up directly. It has something to do with,
because I don't really have studio experience like you do. I never recorded in an actual studio. I recorded on my own personal computer that has Pro Tools, and I know stuff about MIDI, but I've actually been in a studio on my campus. We have our music lab is a studio, essentially a studio, but I don't really have the experience.
I apologize. Maybe I misread it. He says, it'd be cool to hear you two discuss the difference between making live and electronic music. So that's not even what I was really talking about.
That's a weird question, though, because it's like, as Q says, studio is like a fine-tuned wine. It takes a lot of time, from my experience, to make something in a studio, because it's not just the nice thing about live. I prefer live when I was playing. I prefer live because it's less hassle. It's like, okay, you just play and you just live it. Whereas like if you're in a studio, you have to play. All right, listen it back. How does it sound? Does it sound good? We could have done that here. Okay, so we'll punch in at this bar, play it again. All right, how's it sound? Well, we could do a little bit better here. Okay, let's go back. We'll punch in here. And you know what punching is, right? Right? Yeah, so we have to do that. And okay, we got this track down. All right, let's record the bass now. Like, it's like individual thing. And then like, okay, how does it sound? All right, now we got to add post-processing. Now we got to add some reverb. Send it to this channel. Send it to a reverb track. All right, and then okay, let's add some compression here to make it a little bit louder or whatever. And okay, we're missing a little bit of the high end here. Let's EQ this. It takes a bunch of time. And honestly, when I was mixing the projects that I was doing, it drove me insane. It honestly drove me insane because I would listen to what I was done with mixing and listen to it before it mixed, and I realized, and every single time it's like, I ruined this.
Okay, so I should say, you asked me, do you know what punch in means? I will send you these songs that we did. Like I was telling you how we recorded like 10 songs or whatever. Mm-hmm. We did not record with a click track. We recorded them live.
Ooh.
Meaning okay, so what that means is we record it live. There's a big room with drums and a bass and lead guitar all in one room, and then I'm separate with rhythm guitar and vocals. We do it live. We're going to do it live. Then we're going to throw away everything but the drums. We keep the drums. And then we build bass, guitar, vocals off of that. That might solve your problem, because now that's not how they do it at Sonic Factory Studio. But they did that with us. I think maybe because we were so green, we weren't very... I don't know if our drummer was very comfortable playing with a click. Like, it was... I mean, we're a bar band. You know what I mean? Like, that we're very vibey. We vibe off of each other. So... in that and I definitely want to send you these songs now, because I would be very interested to see, not unlike if it's your style, if you like it, but because you know what a click track brings to that, you know how to build off of that. This is it's a live recording. So I would love to hear your take on that. But anyway.
Yeah, I think that also...
I wish I could play one like right now, but maybe we can do that. I'll ask the guys if I can like leak a track or whatever before we put
that kind of the whole click track thing. You make a very good point. Honestly, I'd probably go the route that you guys went too, but that's because I grew up playing live. In an orchestra, I grew up playing live concerts, not recording in the studio. And even like orchestra concerts, I've had orchestra concerts recorded, and they're on Spotify or whatever, or Amazon Music, Apple Music, whatever they are.
The place we did it even would record to tape. None of our stuff is on tape, but they would record to tape, like for certain songs or certain bands. And I mean, that is like, you're talking about like creating the wheel type shit. When you watch them cut tape and paste, like, or tape, like, yo, it's insane. Like, but it's, you know, it's cool. Like, it's kind of like if a vinyl came back or whatever, like recording kind of went back to that. And they do it. God bless it. Sonic Factory Studio in Des Moines. Like, they'll do it. It's crazy. They do tape
recording there too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. And I feel like I need to donate to them. Keep that studio alive. We need to keep it, because I'm a
Shout out to John Locker. He's a bass player for the Nadas, and he also is one of the owners / engineers / producers over at Sonic Factory. So shout out to John.
I need to say this because I'm glad that you mentioned tape. I believe, and maybe this is my boomer mindset coming out as a 23-year-old individual, boomer mind. I firmly believe that people that need to record, if people want to record and stuff, they need to start on tape. Because if you start off on tape, you don't have that simple luxuries of just, I'll just go over to the mouse here, highlight this section, delete, we'll punch in here. They're still punching in on tape, but you got to realize, once you record over that tape, it's gone forever. So like, you can take another, like the way you'd have to do it on tape is that you'd have to, I'd have to record to another track on that tape. And then assuming that they have a 16-track machine that they record the tape on. It's not like a digital audio workstation where you could just be like, okay, that take didn't sound so good. I'll just Control Z, bring that other take back.
Yeah.
I also like, so he's, Q says he has still has cassettes of Eros, but cassettes are also making a comeback too. I like cassettes. I like all forms of music. I like all mediums of music. I like cassettes because there's a I don't know. It's just there's something about holding the cassette in your hand. And switching in the size. It's like, it's not like vinyl, because vinyl is a little bit of a hassle because like, oh man, I gotta open the dust cover, I gotta stop the thing, gotta flip it, I gotta flip the disc. Now I gotta take my dust brush and I gotta run it over the brush, and then I gotta drop the needle, close the dust cover. There's a long process. I mean, you get used to it because as somebody who I grew up on cassettes. Then I went to CDs, and I still buy.
Oh, here we go.
I still buy CDs.
Yeah. What's that red one?
This is garbage.
No, the other red one.
Oh, this is not a great one. This is Peter Gabriel's Us. It's honestly not that great.
Oh well, Gabriel's fucking rad. Dude.
I have So on vinyl, and I like So a lot better than this one. This one's just boring.
Yeah,
but no, I buy CDs still. That's
the same. The reason you gave for liking cassettes is the same reason why people love vinyl and CDs, because it's physical. I love to hold it. I love to like flip through it or whatever. But I understand like the upkeep of vinyl is way different than cassettes. Yeah. Obviously, cassettes
are just like, all right, I just got to make sure the tape machine doesn't eat the tape.
Mm-hmm. That's
the big thing. I've had a Michael Jackson bad tape, not bad tape, but the album Bad. That tape broke on the lead out, I think it was, because each cassette tape has certain sections of it. You have the lead in, which is just blank tape, and it's not even just tape; it's kind of just plastic. There's no ferric oxide, I think, is the material. Basically rust. That's because how tape works is that you record to it by magnetizing certain parts of the tape. And
that shit is like, okay, go ahead. I'm just thinking of like the first time when you think about how vinyl works, and then you think about how laser disc work, you think about how tape works, and then you take a giant step back into like the 60s and think about how
8 tracks.
microchips work. Like they built it like it's just sand. It's compressed sand or whatever. It's like, yo, what alien came down and was like, here you go, reverse engineer this shit, you assholes. Like, anyway, I can't imagine, dude. People are so stupid now. I can't imagine if like everything went away. We were like, all right, go invent music and go print it and put it on things. We'd be like, huh? Like, how the fuck would you do that? You know what I mean? Anyway,
It's why I tried to educate myself, and actually,
yeah.
one of the reasons why I actually study what I study is actually music oriented. I love the technology of music because music is actually really complex. Audio is super complex, extremely complex. Like you wouldn't even think about it because it's like, oh, I just put the CD in and it works. I just download this from the internet. I press play, and it works. There's so much that I just cannot get into because it would probably bore people.
If there was like an idiot's guide, like a dumbed down version of it, they would still, you'd be like,
it's hard.
It's magic. It's magic.
It's hard to understand. Like even something that I'm taking a class called communication systems. It's not communications. It's not like, a communications major. No, this is actually technical communications, like radio waves or sampling, like the sampling theorem. Basically, sampling theorem is what allows you to take basically music and put it digitally. It's a very complex thing, and it's so fascinating. I'm trying to think, like, who the hell thinks of these things? Like Edison back in like the 1800s. He's like, oh, I'm going to take this wax cylinder, I'm going to spin it, I'm going to yell into this cone, and then I'm going to play it back. And like, that's exactly what vinyl is. A vinyl is just a flattened wax cylinder where it's just like, okay, we record an audio signal. Like, if you take a vinyl record under a microscope, you can see the audio waves, basically. And it's really cool because, like, they started out in mono, and then, okay, how do we make it stereo? How do we make it? Oh, we can make it 2 channels? How do we make it 2 channels? Oh, we interpret it. Okay, the needle goes up and down and side to side. And then then we interpret that signal. It's so, like, mind-blowing to me, like how does this work? And then we go, like, who the hell thought of tapes? Like, I'm going to take rust, I'm going to put it on some plastic, and I'm going to spin it over a magnet. And then it's going to make music.
I'll tell you, I won't tell you how, right? But I'll tell you why. The innovation of music and how to get it out to people is it is the marketplace. And it's because, number one, I think personally, music is the universal language. Like it's literally like the story of Babel in the Bible. Like it's kind of like God's naughty secret, where we're not supposed to all speak the same tongue, because if we did, we would get smart and go find God, and he does not want to be found, right? He wants to be kind of tucked away. Politically, all these things, the reason why we're so divided is because we can't come together on things. Music is one of those things that's just like, nope, that's one, like, you either you like it or you don't. Politics and like race and culture be damned. It's one of those things that I will like something that somebody that I don't like likes. Like, it just happens. And because of that, you see what mankind has done. They continue to push the medium. When you talk about putting rust on, like, what are we talking about, dude? Like there's no reason why that should exist. I know where rust. I can make rust. I can go find those things. I can spool it with a pencil on a plastic cassette tape. It ain't gonna sound like fucking Aerosmith. You know what I mean? Like, and it's because music is the universal language, and that's That's why. Like, it's going to constantly. So now we're into that realm that you don't like so much with TikTok and getting it. Well, I'm just going to pick and choose what I want. I'm going to put it into one thing. That might be the end game there, where that stuff might exist, and it might be, you might not like it because it's sloppy, but those types of people that like that stuff, it's not going to last, because that's just going to get pushed aside to people with talent. That always happens. Like, the next best thing is going to be there, and it will constantly be pushed away to people who like actually have an ear, are creatives, shit like that. So
I think this other secondary thing about music right now is, and I'm guilty of this. When I was growing up, I only wanted, my parents had cassettes and CDs, and I would
stop bragging.
I would
Running joke.
I could say too that my thank you, Q, for the follow. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Q.
I'll even say that my parents, my dad has a couple of 8-tracks. So, but
hell yeah,
I haven't played them because I'm scared to play them, because it's just like, I have an 8-track machine and I want to test if it works, but the problem is I don't want to ruin the 8-tracks. That's the thing. But anyway,
right.
I'm guilty of this. So when I was younger too, I have CDs that I have bought from the early 2000s and in the mid 2000s. And why did I buy them? Oh, there was a song on there that was on the radio that I liked. I'm not that way anymore. I absolutely prefer listening to the whole rather than the single, like the single. I love listening to the album, and that's what I'm hoping that with this vinyl resurgence teaches people to listen to the entire album, because it with vinyl, spoiled people like me that grew up on CDs, we just hit seek and then it goes right to the track we want to. But also unspoiled people like me too, because I like I said, I grew up on cassettes, so I was like sitting at my Sony cassette deck, hitting the fast forward button on the tape machine, all right, and then stop and then play. Oh, not there yet. Okay, so stop, forward. Oh, I went too far. Or I got to go back, and it's a challenge to get there. But there was older music formats are designed, I think, to force you to listen to the entire album. And I think with digital format now, which, don't get me wrong, I love digital format. I buy CDs. CDs are both a physical and a digital format, but they're not analog. I buy CDs to rip them onto my computer to transfer onto my phone, because I'm not carrying a CD player on me all the time. Sorry, I'm not carrying a Walkman with me either. Sorry to those elitists. I love the convenience of digital music, but that has also kind of ruined the whole, because like it gives you easier access. Look at all the Spotify playlists. It's like so many different things of like different songs that are just picked and choose and stuff like. And you could say that, you could make the argument, oh, that's what DJs did in the 90s. Like, yeah, they did, but there was actually like a full-on talent behind, okay, I gotta find this track on this vinyl record. And then, all right, now once this record's done, I gotta queue up on the second deck. I gotta find this track too, and I gotta fade over to it. How do I know? I've DJ'd before. Not on vinyl, but I've DJ'd before. And I think the problem with, or the accessibility with digital music is a problem to me, because artists now aren't creating solid whole art.
Okay, so art. That's why I wanted to jump in, was because you said, I hope that the consumer, because of this new resurgence of vinyl, has come through. Like, maybe these consumers are going to want a whole project, listen to the whole project, not just individual tracks. I totally agree with you, and I'll raise you. It's got to be on the artist. You've got to put out a fucking all filler, no killer, baby. You got to put out bangers, because the stakes just raised. Like, I have Amazon Music. I stream it. So you're like, I buy CDs to put. You say I used to do that. What you're doing right now, I buy CDs so that I can rip them, so that I can put them on my shit. I just have a monthly subscription of like $8 a month, and then I just have all the music I want. But one thing I don't do is I don't just pick and choose songs. I'll be like, I'm very picky. I'm like, I want a whole album. I want to listen to where this guy's coming from. I've got a bunch of new suggestions too, by the way. God damn it, like it's getting crazy. But anyway, go ahead.
I just hope
Not original when it's digital. That rhymes, and I gotta tell you, I don't know if I agree with it or not, but it rhymes. So put that might be my new album title.
on a technical aspect, Q is correct actually. On a technical aspect, because I know how analog and digital audio works.
I stand corrected.
Crash course. Digital audio is taken by sampling. And by sampling, you can never really have the perfect audio waveform. You just get like points at the audio waveform. If you go to Audacity, if you zoom in, or like Adobe Audition, which is the equivalent like of Audacity, if you zoom in far enough on a digital waveform, it doesn't turn into the smooth line anymore. It starts turning into dots. Those dots are samples. It's a point in time. So he's correct. It's not original when it's digital, because digital is just a snapshot of what it is. But anyway, my whole thing is like, I hope that music changes now so it forces artists to put out not just, okay, I'm going to put out 2 songs this year and I'm going to come back in 2 years again and put another 2 songs. No, I want 13. I want 13 that I can listen to back to back to back to back to back. Like, I want a full piece. I want a full-on piece, not a, okay, here's some, okay, let's just put like a 50-minute intro track, and then, all right, here's another track that's 2.5 minutes, and it's all right, I'll put in there, and here's a standout, this is what we're gonna put on the radio, this is a single, we're gonna make a YouTube music video over it, this is a single, and then you go to the next track, and it's just like, I'm bored, like. And that's, I think, what the problem with this one is, with Peter Gabriel's Us from 92? The problem with this one, there's a lot of filler. It's boring. Like, this is just singles. I prefer to listen to the whole rather than just a part.
He's from the 70s era. What's your favorite album, front to back, Q, from the 70s? I'm going to put you in a little bit of a box. It's got to be a 70s record. What's something that you can listen to front to back? And why is it Head East? See, I hit you with a little deep cut. You didn't see that coming, bud.
I actually haven't answered that question.
You answer it first, and we'll wait for him to... I should say them.
Fleetwood Mac, Rumors. 1979, I think it is.
Oh.
I have the record, actually. The repress, but I still have the record. That is Aerosmith's greatest hits.
Yeah, okay. So I would have said, yeah, you did say Aerosmith. You also said that analog is better, but how can you do this? Better, dude looks like a lady. You don't have it going on in your ears. That was later. That was like the 90s, I think.
I'll be honest, actually, I'm not gonna say that, but also, you funny thing about it, you have a mono microphone, so it's only.
I know. I tried to do it with I tried to pantomime.
Yourself. Now, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors is one of the greatest albums I've ever heard.
What's your favorite track off of that, and why is it Never Going Back Again?
It's not. My favorite track is actually the album.
Then
closer.
Let's end the show right now.
Favorite track from that is what's the album closer? It's the album closer. I forget what it's called. Not The Chain. It's not The Chain. Chain is the first track on side B. There's like a Black Magic Woman, I think it's that's not Santana. That's God, what is I need to look this up.
Hold on. I got it.
Gold Dust Woman? What's it called?
Don't beat me. Don't you beat me.
What is it? It's actually, I can bring it. I actually have it on my computer. Hold on.
It.
Where you at? Gold Dust Woman it is. I was right. Gold Dust Woman. But I also like long songs though too. I also like the Wall is a very good one though too. Q makes the Wall is
Pink
also
Floyd.
Q. Yeah, that's like a.
You know what's interesting about Pink Floyd? Okay, so you know how you hear. There's always a. In fact, Q, give me yours. Most overrated band. And you know what? I'm going to change it. Not overrated. What's a like extremely like a legendary top tier band that like you just don't like? Mine is Pink Floyd. Like I can't get into it. I don't listen. I respect it. Eric Clapton's another one where I'm just like I don't get it. Like it just doesn't fall on my ears right.
This is Alice Cooper.
I don't know if I'd call that like respectable. No, I mean, not like Pink Floyd. Like if you're like, I don't like the Beatles, like I can understand that, right? Like I love the Beatles, but there's a ton of people that I meet. They're like, I don't like them. I get it. Pink Floyd for me is that band. I'm just like, fuck. I just don't. For whatever reason, I literally I'm like the dumbest. Kind of like entry level. I like that "Wish You Were Here" song, and that's it.
Yeah, I can't really say I have an informed opinion.
Frank Zappa. Yeah,
I can't really say I have an informed opinion on Pink Floyd just because the only album that I've listened to front to back from Pink Floyd is The Wall. And man, so that was my dad. So it's funny thing about it is that I bought a record player last year for myself for Christmas. And it spiraled into, okay, like I bought these records and now like, okay, I brought it home for Christmas. I set it up for Christmas and I was like, playing these records for my mom and dad. And then next summer came and my mom was like, oh, like we go to record store day. I go to record store day and she's like, I'm like, you want to come to me to record store day? I said, yeah, I want to go. So she buys records and like, oh, now I need a record player. So she bought a record player. And then my dad starts buying records again. And then my brother's like, starts buying records. And like, now he needs a record player. And so like, I don't know, this the whole, I don't know what it is, what happened. Like, why did me buying a record player, like, get them to buy a record player?
It's just fucking cool right now.
Yeah, it is cool. But, my dad was like, I love Pink Floyd. He got the Dark Side of the Moon. He ordered that off of Discogs. By the way, Discogs is a great place to get albums. And then I bought The Wall for him because he wanted The Wall. And I was listening to this with him, and I'm like, man, I need to get a copy of The Wall for myself because I really like this album. But that's the only album I've from Pink Floyd that I've listened to front to back. So I can't really say I have an informed opinion on them because I don't have enough of a sample size.
Back in my college days, we would listen to Dark Side of the Moon. It was like 44 minutes long. It was like the perfect, if you're into doing things in college, it's the perfect record to do them to.
Do certain things.
There's certain things that you can do while you're listening to this
in a closed room.
And it was great. You can't deny it when you're under the influence and you like listen to stuff like that or whatever. But then you get sober and you're kind of like, well, that's that for me anyway. For personally, I'm just like, that's for that time or whatever. Then I kind of grew out of that stuff and I was like, man, it's just like something that it just never, for whatever reason, it didn't hit me. There's tons of them too. Can't stand country, grew up on rock, then fell in love with techno. Now that, quite the reach. I respect Q. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, I do get it because I know a lot of people that like, especially Midwesterners that were just like, my family only listens to country. So I like rock and roll. And then there may be like, even like, Gen Xers. My father-in-law is a Gen Xer and he's just like Tool You know what I
Really?
mean?
Tool.
Oh.
As a Gen Xer? Really? Wow. I mean,
Oh.
hold on here. Let me. I gotta pull up some of the CDs that I have within
50 years old. God bless you, baby. Thanks, dude. Seriously, thanks for being here. Thanks for following us. Oh, it's just me now. Okay, listen. Okay, he's gone. Normally, like, I'm not even involved in this. I'm not one of the guys who runs the show. I'm just like a guest host. Let's get away with the gnarliest shit we can say right now, because he's not around and he can't hear us, right? So it's like there's no way that we can possibly get in trouble. Oh shit, he's back. Okay, everybody be cool.
So I've got some CD. I don't know what you're talking about, but I can watch this back later.
Nothing. We were all minding our P's and Q's.
Here's this one. Twitch will see this backwards, but it's Tool's 10,000 Days. Because I like Tool. I like progressive rock. I like math rock. So here's some. It's like I have a very varied. Hold on.
See, there you go.
Nine Inch Nails. I have.
I know.
This one, The Downward Spiral, 1994, which is a good album. This goes hard. This is hard. Like a normal human being would say, man, this is hard to listen to, because it is hard. It's difficult to listen to, but if you understand what's going on, it makes sense why it's so hard, why it's aggressive. I'll show you my favorite album of all time later on.
Are these all rap? Are these all in plastic right here?
No,
they sound like they're wrapped.
No, I think just last year I started keeping the shrink wrap. It was actually fun enough after I started buying vinyl records again, or not again. I started buying vinyl records. I started buying vinyl records, and I wanted to keep the sleeve because the sleeve is just. I'm used to CDs where CDs are plastic. With the exception of digipacks, I love digipacks. If you don't know what digipacks are. I'll show you.
Is it like Digimon or like what?
No, not that.
Is it Pokemon, dude? Are you talking about Blastoise right now?
No, I've learned to actually just keep stuff in shrink wrap, or keep the shrink wrap and try to protect. I try to protect.
You love the song "Something I Can Never Have"
Pretty
by
Hate Machine.
Nine Inch Nails. What do you think about that, Jason?
Bring that one over here.
Well. I see. He already knows. Yeah. Hey.
I have it. No, this is my favorite album of all from the 2000s, not of all time. Probably number 2 album of all time. Radiohead's Kid A.
Hey.
Radiohead's Kid A. That's this
now
album, man.
Now you're dipping into my world a little bit, but you're a prog rock guy. So do you like the kind of the we've talked about this, I think, before. Do you like Yes?
I do like Yes.
Do you like Rush?
I do like Rush.
Okay, cool. See, I like that old shit, but when it evolved kind of into like, I will not call it this out of respect. But it kind of slipped. Prog rock was popular, and then new metal became popular around the same time.
I don't have my Linkin Park disc here at my parents' house. And I have Linkin Park.
But I don't hate Linkin Park. I don't hate those bands. But it kind of bled into those, and that's where I kind of fell off a little bit. So I like that old school shit.
What do you think about Limp Bizkit then?
As Fred Durst once said, "Yeah."
I think Fred Durst.
No, he's fine. I don't.
I think Fred Durst is the weakest part of Limp Bizkit because Wes Borland, their guitarist, is really good.
I'm actually a fan of Buckethead. No, I'm joking.
Jordan. Here's another CD, Garbage. I don't know if you've heard of Garbage. Garbage was popular in the late 90s. I like version 2.0. That's a good one. But I have a very, very varied music taste. This is an album from the UK. A band called Pendulum. Drum and bass. I don't know if you know what drum and bass is. Electronic music. Yeah. It was big in
I think that's where Finn is like. He thinks.
I don't know if he likes drum and bass though. He likes
no. But he's big. He likes what you like about it. Like I think that where I'm like a musician, live musician or whatever, and he's like that type of shit. He pegs that on you.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this one? Filter?
Yep, of course.
Filter. This is another album that I really like. This is title of record, their second one.
What's Ministry?
Ministry, that's Al Jorgensen. I don't think I've ever heard anything from Ministry, but Ministry is like the founder of industrial. And I like industrial.
Okay. Yeah.
I like industrial because I might be saying this wrong, but what I see industrial as, I like it because it combines rock with electronic music, but it's not quite electronic rock.
Right.
I'll listen to music scores. This is the Vietnam War soundtrack. This is actually this is sealed, not even opened, because I made a dumb mistake, and I bought one copy off of Amazon. I went to Discogs because every time I buy a CD or a vinyl record, I go to Discogs to confirm the legitimacy of it. And there's ways you could do it on CDs. It's easier on vinyl records because on vinyl records they etch in like an identifier on the record, not on the playing surface, but like on the inner label. CDs are harder because there's a mastering identifier, but it's really hard to see. It's like on the very, very inside of the ring. So I looked at Discogs, bought the Vietnam War soundtrack off of Amazon, and I'm hesitant about buying stuff on Amazon anybody can really sell it on Amazon. And I looked at our Discogs, and I'm like, these identifiers aren't matching up, so I think it's fake. And also, because of the shrink wrap that it came in was questionable. And so I'm like, I think this is a fake CD. My dumbass was looking at the UK version of it on Discogs. So it was an actual legitimate pressing. So I actually ended up going to the actual PBS store and buying this. So now I have 2 copies of the CD. One of them is open, this was the unopened one. But this one has the legitimate shrink wrap. And then favorite album of all time, The Fragile, 9 Inch Nails, 1999. This is what they call a digipack. It's it's kind of like I like it because it's paper, kind of like record kind of feeling. It opens up. It's really easy, because I have a CD player in my car. I listen to CDs on the go.
I've been in your car. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, you have. I'm surprised you remember that.
I remember that. Yo, that was crazy.
But yeah,
nice car, by the way, ladies. He keeps a clean car.
I do keep. I can't stand being in a dirty car or messy car. But I like this. Notice how it's 2 discs.
Booklet in there and everything.
Yep, I like it because it's long. Yeah, I like it because it's long. But because I don't know. The first time, I have a really interesting story about this album.
Can you tell that story while I go to the little girl's room real quick?
So I encountered The Fragile accidentally. The Fragile was you dirty dog. The Fragile was something that I didn't even expect to find. I was laying in my room one day and I was listening to the Johnny Cash version of Hurt, and that's like the most famous 9 Inch Nails song, but most people don't know it's a 9 Inch Nails song because Johnny Cash covered it and Johnny Cash really made it his own. Johnny Cash version of Hurt is very, very good. I actually prefer it over the 9 Inch Nails version, but they're completely different versions. They have different meanings behind them. Anyway, so the way YouTube works is YouTube recommends stuff that you think that is similar, and it recommended track number 2 off of this album. So I was listening to it. And I was just like, my impression of 9 Inch Nails was like super aggressive, hard, screamo kind of metal. It was completely off. I was very wrong with what 9 Inch Nails was. I don't know why that was my impression of what I thought 9 Inch Nails was. I think that's maybe the reputation that they probably had in the early 2000s. It's just really aggressive, hard screaming. But when I listened to this track number 2 off of this song, or after this album, I noticed one thing was very, very clear. One thing was very, very clear on this album, or that track, that I noticed immediately. There's no drums. There are no drums on this track. It's very heavy at the beginning, and then it quiets down. There's this long droning C sharp, and like an acoustic stringed instrument. I don't know if it's a guitar, ukulele, what it is. If it's a violin that's being plucked. It's a weird stringed instrument. And I noticed this thing, and it's like, this is soft. It's pretty soft. And then it hits you really hard. The first time I listened to it, there's this large volume jump. It scares the shit out of me. Still kind of does to this day. Kind of scares the shit out of me when it comes on because it's so unexpected. He does a really good job with it. So then I was like, okay, I'm interested more. So I started listening to the entire album. This album starts out with a song called Somewhat Damaged. It's in 3/4 time that eventually transitions into 4/4 into the end. But it's like, this guy is angry. He's mad. And when I first discovered this album, I was also angry. I was mad. It's not like I had no teenage angst or anything. It wasn't like that. I was depressed and angry because I was depressed. Or angry at what had happened to me at the time. I'm like, this guy is like angry. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing where it goes. So it's called Somewhat Damaged. And it gives you a false sense of what this album is going to be. Because it's like, it starts off really hard and aggressive. But then there goes to track number 2, which is no drums. Then it goes to track number 3, an instrumental. With just piano and some like background crickets kind of thing. And then it goes into track number 4, which is heavy, but not like super aggressive. And then there's track number 5, which is wearing this together. It's like kind of poppy, but like it's poppy, but it's not pop. It's like this guy is in pain. This is desperation. He's like screaming, kind of like last ditch kind of thing. And then it goes to the title track, The Fragile, which is soft. It's pretty soft, and it's the point being, this album is about soundscapes rather than lyrical content. I love how many instrumentals are on this. This album has the best flow of any album that I've ever heard of. And goddamn it, when I was listening to it, I was like, damn, this album's not over yet? Like, it's long. It's long, but it's not like, I wasn't like, God, this album's not over yet? When is it gonna end? It's like, God, this album's not over yet? What does he have more to say? Like, what more can you do with this? Because it's like, I'm already an hour and a half in, and I look at the YouTube playlist. There are 2 tracks left. And then when I get to the final track, I had to make sure autoplay wasn't on. Because like it sounded so different. It's just it's the ending track sounded so different. It's so good. The ending track is really good. It wraps everything up. It's so. This album is The Fragile. I have it on CD. I have 2 copies of on vinyl. One's unopened. I will never open that one. I don't intend on opening it. And I have the definitive edition that was just completely instrumentals and other demos that were released on there. 4 vinyl records. The Fragile is the best way at telling life, a story of life, without just explicitly saying it, because it's so. I would love to do it. One thing I want to do before I die is I want to do an in-depth analysis on this album, because there's so much to dissect from this album. There are 23 tracks on the CD, 25 on the vinyl, and then I think 24 on the cassette. Each version is different. And that's like, this is innovation, because like, the CD at the time was the definitive edition. Like, that was the one that was designed to be, that was the one to listen to, because CDs were the popular medium in 1999. But there's the cassette version. The cassette version has an additional track, and the story behind this additional track is really unique. Why was it added? Because if it wasn't there, the cassette would end in the middle of a track, so you'd have to flip the cassette in the middle of a track. So they added this track that fits, that I wish was on the CD, because every time I listen to the CD version, it's like, God, this track is missing, because it just feels wrong. And then the vinyl record has 25. It has 2 tracks that weren't on the CD, and it has alternate versions, because I love how, like, Trent and Alan Moulder, I think, was the one. Alan Moulder was the guy I think his name is Alan Moore. He was the one who produced The Wall, Pink Floyd. They sequenced the way they made the album. They sequenced it for each individual version. So each track is complete. Each version is completely different in like their versions of the tracks. Like some tracks are shorter on the vinyl and longer on the CD. Some tracks fade in or crossfade on the CD, whereas like on the vinyl record they stop because you have a side change. But then they can compensate that by making a longer intro to the next side or anything like that. It's so unique that I think it's just fantastic. Nothing can ever dethrone this album for me as the number one album of all time, the greatest album of all time. And the reason why it's so good, the reason why I like it so much is because it's so perfect to me because it's so imperfect. It's very human. There's stringed instruments. You know how hard you know how hard stringed instruments are. They're not always in tune.
Did you see what Q said?
Yeah, he said, I'll read this. Think about life the way it works. You get angry, then calm down, then dwell. I swear I can speak. Then dwell on the human emotions. Match the sequence of the songs in order. That's a perfect way to put this. This guy starts off angry. The whole premise of this album is we have this guy who's angry. Then he gets sad. Then he tries to work towards happiness. Then disc 1 ends. And then disc 2 picks back up. All right. Continuing this happiness, getting closer. Okay, then he's getting a little bit sad. There's like, questions of, there's the instrumentals. The instrumentals are there to break the sequencing of just like, okay, here's depth, here's thinking, like basically just thinking. Like I'm not sure where to go from here, just thinking. And it's the way it ends, the way this album ends is just like, I remember doing my physics homework at the time when this album ended. And I stopped doing my physics homework after the album ended. I was just like, holy shit. Like, holy shit. Like, it ends in such a very, very haunting way. To the point where it's just like, it's desperation. It ends on an instrumental. It ends with no lyrics. And it ends with detuned piano, detuned guitars, cricket bug noises, like just ambient noises from like outside at night.
Right.
Drones. I think you know what drones are, right? In a music term. Drones. It's a very complex thing that's in 6/8, I think, maybe 6/4. And it's just like, holy shit. This thing is a journey. This thing is just like, he starts off in your face, angry. Then he gets quiet, human. This album is just, it's human. It's a very human album. And then by the time it ends, you're just like, you're not sad, you're not angry, you're not disappointed. You're just like lost. You don't know what to do because he kind of puts these emotions into you of just, I'm angry now. Oh, now I'm sad. But now I'm getting motivated. I'm getting hope. There's hope. There's hope and there's hope. There's hope. More hope. More hope. And then he pulls the rug out from underneath you. And then you get this. The last track I'd say is Limbo. It's please, if you have an hour and 40 minutes, that's how long this album is. It's an hour and 40 minutes.
You do, by the way. You have it.
I do.
Not you. Them.
Oh, Q has it?
No, them. If an hour, 40 minutes, everybody's got that.
Yeah, if you've been listening to this from this point, you've had 2 hours and 12 minutes, so you have the time. Please. And I'm not going to say everybody's going to like this. Some people might just turn it off after the first minute of track 1 because it's so in your face, so aggressive. But that's not the tone of the entire album. This thing is a journey. And I've never listened to an album that has taken me on the same journey that this one has. And I think I credit that part of the length. And because of this album, it is very difficult for me to listen to albums that are under 40 minutes long. Because it's like, I want more. I want to be satisfied. He says that Trent, if you don't know, Trent Reznor is who he's referring to, the mastermind behind Nine Inch Nails, used the Broken sound to his advantage and ruled with that. Broken, I was listening to earlier. Broken is a very, very hard album to listen to because it's so in-your-face aggressive. It's more aggressive than the Downward Spiral. Like, the Downward Spiral is somebody who's angry and sad. Broken is just somebody who's pissed off angry. Like, he's mad, and I have the definitive edition. So Nine Inch Nails released definitive editions of their albums. They're working through them. And the definitive editions come with essays. And this essay they're written by somebody externally. And they're written by somebody who was either involved with the process of making the album or whatever that. And this essay is about, Trent's mad because he's in this contract that he hates. He's in this record contract that he hates. He wants, the guy who's managing his record deal or like the record company, the record company wants him to make something like Pretty Hate Machine, make something very poppy. Whereas this guy's like, I don't want to make pop. You're making pop. I'm not making pop. Release me from my contract. Release me from my record contract. No, I'm not going to. You're making pop. All right. Okay, then if you're not going to release me from a contract, I'm going to go make music under a different name secretly. And this is just him being pissed off at quote Steve. Because his name is Steve, and there are songs on the record that say one of the lyrics is "Eat your heart out, Steve." That's whispered into the center channel, and then the music videos. One of the tracks, because it was recorded on a Pro Tools rig, one of the tracks is called "Fuck You, Steve," and the music video. This guy is angry, and while this is going on, Interscope buys out his contract from TVT Records, which is he was on. Now, he didn't know exactly what was going on, so he was like, oh man, I've just got slave traded. He's pissed off. So this album is just, or it's not even an album, it's an EP. It's an EP. It's an extended play. But it's like, holy shit, this guy's angry. It's like, this is mad. I will put it on my home theater tomorrow as boss lady. Wife will kick my ass. I listened to that, like... Is
Q my favorite person in the whole world right now?
Might be, man.
At least it has got to be your favorite person in the whole world right now. Like, somebody who can, like, dig what you're fucking
I appreciate
laying out.
Somebody who understands Nine Inch Nails and understands that they're just not this angry band, because it's not really a band, it's really just... It's now two people, but it's just, for the entirety of its project, it's just been really one person, which you have to be impressed about. It's been one person. The first album was recorded entirely by himself. And he was branding as a band. And then everybody would just think, oh, it's just Nine Inch Nails is hurt, it's sad, depressed music, angry music, or I want to fuck you like an animal. Which, if you listen to that song in the context of the lyrics, the actual lyrics, not the chorus, and the context of the album, it's actually not about sex. It's about desperation, in all honesty. It's sad. It's really sad. But God has to go hard because he knows how to use pop elements and make it not pop. And I appreciate people that can blend genres or innovate genres. And so he innovated in industrial. So Nine Inch Nails is one of my favorite bands. And it's really weird because Nine Inch Nails, my three favorite bands are Nine Inch Nails, not in order. This is in no particular order. Nine Inch Nails, Linkin Park. Everybody hates nu metal. It's like people hate nu metal. People don't like Linkin Park. And Radiohead. They're all three very different things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I gotta stop talking because I can go on forever about
music. I was like, hell yeah, dude, let's go. Like, I love that shit.
Oh, we have a fellow. I love Canada. I do love Canada.
Are you kidding me? How did you come across this? If I don't mind you asking, yeah. How did this happen?
Maybe it's the title, because the title is NHL related.
Hockey, yeah.
But we haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't gotten to that yet. We will. And I'm not a hockey guy, and I'm not a Nine Inch Nails guy. But I love this shit.
I'm educating you. I will actually educate you about the NHL thing, because actually I've been wanting to talk about it
He supports
for 2 weeks.
smaller streamers. Well,
I
you don't know how
appreciate that.
I'm pretty fat. I mean, you don't know how big I am. If you can't fucking tell right here, but do you have any idea what this logo means? I almost wonder. I guess you can kind of see in the back of Jason's.
It means Code Brown, right?
How dare you? No, he doesn't.
Go tweet that out. I say old Iowa logo means Code Brown. And have all the Iowa fans against me.
Yeah. So we're both well, not both. We are in Iowa right now. One of us is a Iowa Hawkeyes fan, and the other is an Iowa State Cyclone. Damn near alumni. So we are into collegiate sports.
Yes.
And that's how not necessarily this podcast was started, but it is definitely a giant aspect of this podcast. They obviously, I'll say they, I won't include myself. I've been on, this is my 5th time. So I've been on quite a few times. Lucky me. They talk about literally everything, but the whole reason of this podcast is exactly what you're doing right now, Q. You hop in and you take over the podcast. We're just the idiots who we don't have anything to fucking talk about. And then you come in and we get to talk about that and you get to influence the entire show. So awesome that you're here.
We go into the show, the whole premise of this, we started over a year ago. By like a week. 53 weeks ago. The whole premise of this, we're just going to go in, no script, no outline, we're just going to talk. Round table, basically. We don't want it to be super, super structured. We're not on any specific time deadline, like we have to get done in like an hour or so, or like we got to have 45 minutes and 15 minutes needs to be of ad reads or anything. We wanted it to be very relaxed. Sit down, lay down, go to sleep, listen to us, or you can crack open a cold one, listen to us, or watch us wherever we are. We are on Spotify. We also are on YouTube, and all the other popular podcast streaming platforms. I'm not too familiar with all of them. I'm not the one who handles that. Our normal co-host, who is unavailable this week, but he will be back next week. He's the one who handles the promotion side of this, so he's the one who handles. So I'm not exactly sure how it gets up onto Spotify and all these other things, but I'm the one who handles getting up on Twitch and getting up on YouTube. So I appreciate you being here, actually, Q, and go Canada. Actually, I love.
Hell yeah, man!
I love Canada. I just wish that I had my passport with me when I went to Niagara Falls because I wanted to walk into Toronto. I want to go to Toronto. I do want to go to Toronto. Q says he's addicted to maple syrup while I ride my polar bear. You're like, typing on. Oh, you're talking about Xbox. I can't. Oh fuck. Oh yeah. Like, oh yeah. You gotta say. Oh man, that was a big moose. That was a big moose over there. That's a big moose. Yeah, there's big hockey. Big hockey over in Edmonton. I can't do the Canadian thing really too well.
I'll tell you what.
A boot, yeah, a boot.
I'm
or
personally
sorry.
Personally, I'm all about anybody who uses loonies and toonies as their currency. So I'm, to me, let's go, baby. Bacon, maple syrup, let's get going.
By the way, if I have offended any Canadians with my impression, I don't think you can.
I don't think you can offend Canadians. I think they're pretty.
I sincerely apologize, and I would like to say sorry to the Canadian people.
There you goes. We just yeah. See, we're all the thing about Canadians and Midwesterners is we're the same.
We're pretty much the same, yeah.
We're the same. We're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah. I just wish Canada's Worst Driver still continued because that was my fix every January. I would wait for somebody to upload the episodes of Canada's Worst Driver on the YouTube and I'd watch that. It's very interesting. It was so if you don't know it, Circleherk,
I don't.
If you're bored, if you are very, very bored, it's so interesting to watch though. It's called Canada's Worst Driver.
All right.
Just look it up. I don't remember who uploads it. They're full episodes and I'm like, I swear I probably failed a couple classes because I was too busy watching Canada's Worst Driver late at night. because I'm just like, this is just too good. This is way too good. Worse now is weed. Oh, I did not know weed is legal in Canada.
Yeah.
Was not
Big
aware of
time.
that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know actually where it's all legal. I mean, it's not nationally legalized in the United States.
It's legal in your home state, isn't it?
It is. It is legal.
Illinois?
And good old the person who used to harass my co-host, he went to a dispensary near my hometown. He traveled from central Iowa. He traveled 3 hours to get weed. And he showed up on camera with his name.
Yeah.
And went back to the state of Iowa where weed is illegal. And brought it back, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I have no shame in like showing my face and saying, hey, I'm doing this. I'm going here. I'm from Urbandale or whatever it was."
Yeah,
but yes, weed is legal in the state of Illinois. Is CBD legal in Iowa? I don't know if it is, because I remember in 2018, I remember there was a place in here in Ames that got shut down for selling CBD because CBD was technically classified as marijuana.
I'm not sure, but I think because of Illinois, it's trending in the in that direction, legalization. So I think they've definitely let into a little bit more of like being okay with it. But yeah, we're one of the standstills when it comes to that.
It's because we are a highly conservative state too.
Also, we're also right. I'm pretty sure Nebraska's been
really. That's actually really surprising.
No, you know what? Never mind. It's not. But I remember going to Lincoln and just being like flooded with like marijuana. Be like, Jesus, God in heaven, like what is happening right now? So I'll take
Minnesota
it back.
legalized it because Minnesota is super democratic.
That's the other. Yeah, I don't. It's as far as I know, it's not. But it's got to be close.
It's so weird because like Minnesota is more democratic than Illinois, but Illinois has legalized it. Maybe because of Chicago, though.
Sure.
But yeah, our podcast is a little bit of everything. It's really like you tune in, and you don't know what you're going to be getting really until you actually go in. And actually, you have audience members have a direct influence on the way the show goes. We will rant about things that you mention in chat, or we will discuss openly directly with you about things that you say, or if we have something and you chime in on it, we'll address that too, and we'll go on a whole side tangent or even just full tangent on that. It's I love when I was watching Twitch streamers. I support small streamers also. I enjoyed the ability to actually communicate directly with the streamers, so that's why I want to be able to keep that going for this too. I may have differing opinions than the co-host, not you, Circleherk, the normal co-host that we have, about this. I don't want it to grow super big because once you grow so large, like you look at other Twitch channels that have like, look, dude, just go. We were watching a big titty streamer earlier today before the show. You can't even read the chat.
There's still time. There's still time. We might be able to put that on here. I mean, come on. Don't. Not yet.
I'm not sharing it. I actually just
Maybe
want to
at
know.
The very end. Yeah.
I want to know if she got taken down yet. Oh, that's twitch.tv. I don't want twitch.tuberculosis. I want twitch.tv, not TB.
We were watching.
Oh, ASMR lick the ear now.
I love ASMR and I love licking. So, I mean, you're talking. Now we're talking.
Honestly, when I first watched the ASMR licking stream, I thought I was actually watching softcore porn. Like that's so like I was like, what is this? But that's for after the show.
Q, this is more of like a talk radio, interactive talk radio.
Yes,
maybe a bad way of putting it.
If I could actually activate a phone line for people to call in, I would love to be able to do that. I want to do that. Maybe we can integrate that somehow in our Discord.
That'd be awesome.
But that's something that I would love to have too. Is like have people like just chime in audio wise and not just text wise. It's like, yo, hey, Derek Henry, blah, or Spencer Petras can't throw for shit or whatever, and then have another caller come in and say, that dude is a dumbass. Spencer Petras is the future of Iowa, or whatever. It'd be fun to have. It'd be like fun to have those things. Other things here. All right. Let me finally get to the title of what this was about. Let me finally get about this. So, Circleherk, I'm not going to explain to you exactly what happened yet because I want to give you. So you are completely unaware of anything right now, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. So I want to project this to you in a completely blind scenario because I don't want to.
Then see how I.
Yeah, I don't want to influence any bias in there. I know I know AP high school statistics. You know, I got an A in it. Just don't ask me about college statistics right now. I kicked over a chair after my stat exam earlier this morning. But anyway, but so I want to avoid.
Also, I don't know anything about hockey.
Yeah.
So
you don't need this one.
Okay.
This one I'll influence some bias in you and say you don't need to know anything about hockey. Really, you don't really need to know anything. Do you know what the championship trophy is called?
The Stanley Cup.
Okay, so you know that. So okay,
you can drink milk out of it or beer.
Or
everybody
cereal or anything. Yeah,
you can do whatever you want. But
so,
there's a guy that goes around with it.
Yes.
Which is
So you do know, but as my chair continues to fall apart, Christmas is coming up, so hopefully I'll get a new one.
Yo, dude, Q's fucking.
Q is just in the curling, man. Oh, you got to sweep.
Yo, get those brushes out, my dude.
But so okay, yeah, aggressive sweeping.
You gotta make the face. You gotta make the face.
I wish that was a. You know, if I were making closed captioning for Olympic, actually the Winter Olympics are gonna be next year. Awesome. So we get curling next year.
Is it next?
It's next year.
We're gonna do it this year because of Oh wait. What month?
February, I think it is.
Okay. So all right. Sorry, go ahead. Where is it?
Pyeongchang? South Korea? No, that's North Korea. It's not North Korea. I think it's in South Korea.
China.
I'm actually curious. Let me get off of this AMR Lick the Ear stream. Winter Olympics. I think it's in. Actually, it might be in Japan. Some Asian company or company.
Easy for you to say.
Some Asian country.
Look it up. As you're looking it up, can I? Okay. Call back to the very first part of this podcast was Jason came over to my house for the first time to hang out. We've never hung out with each other like face to face, and I'm pretty sure like I made the joke about like my dog being like, yeah, he doesn't like brown people. Did I make that joke? Tell me
I can't remember if you did or not.
God.
I think you did though. I think you did.
Oh, I'm so sorry, dude.
I don't have any issues with it. I'm not like super.
I wanted it to be like shock jock type shit, like right off the bat, like where my friends were there when the half the group left or whatever. And I was like, yeah, he's leaving. Yeah, he doesn't like brown people or something.
yeah, you said that. You did say that, yeah.
Okay. I know I did that, and then like looking, I was like, I'm such an like this is the first time I've ever seen this guy in person. I'm saying that like that's pretty ballsy. That's a pretty ballsy move.
It's ballsy, but you also have to remember, even though that's the first time meeting you in person, it's like it's not the first time I've interacted with you.
Sure,
it'd be different if it's the first time I've interacted with you.
And that's what I said to you in your to respond to your DM. I was like, it was weird how unweird it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it was just hanging out with an old friend or whatever. So anyway,
so where I got nice, bless you. Even though you just burped. Did you actually just sneeze or was it fake?
It was fake, baby.
That was a good one. That did throw me off. So Pyeongchang, I was talking about, that was actually the last Winter Olympics, so that's where I got Pyeongchang. They're in Beijing. They are actually in. Say it.
China.
Yes. So they're in China this year.
Billions and billions and billions.
There's a video of me saying billions and billions while on helium. I was on helium, so.
Oh, yo, you have to fucking fight.
Here.
Awesome.
We got time. I can pull it up.
luckily, see, that's the problem. See, Canadians are very tolerant. Us Americans,
We're offended by
Q
everything.
says, no, I'm just saying, Q says he's colorblind. He can't see colors. First off, I got to say bullshit. But secondly, I got to say, I believe you because I made it a joke immediately. Like, I was like, I barely know this guy. Let's make fun of his skin color. Or not make fun of it. I'm trying to make fun of the white people around me to try to get them uncomfortable or whatever. But I'm like, Jason has to be in on the joke if I do it. And like, that's why I was so worried the next day. I was like, God damn it. What the fuck did I do? What did I say?
All right. Let me show
here we go.
Circle. All right. And then let's go to screen sharing. You should Twitch should currently be seeing my screen. You are seeing this right now. Here's me saying billions and billions on helium. I'm gonna laugh before doing it. Right, so just inhale. I've never huffed before, so I don't know.
Billions. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, fuck you. Billions and billions of people.
There you go, Batman.
So when I said it, I was like, oh, it doesn't work because I didn't think it worked at the time, but it's actually, oh, fuck, it does. So there's I guess your
Jason, what a loser.
I agree. All right, so back to hockey. As we sweep. No, but okay. So I'm gonna try and explain this, or retell this with as minimal bias as possible. Okay, so the Chicago Blackhawks hockey team, in 2010. This is 11 years ago, because it would have been the spring of 2010. They're on their Stanley Cup run. Playoffs has happened. Now, I have to ask you this, Circleherk. As a higher-ranking official within an organization, if someone reports sexual misconduct in your organization, what is your course of action?
You cut out there as a higher what?
A higher ranking individual in the organization. So like, general manager or coach or
okay,
whatever, owner.
And it's a player or somebody in the organization?
Player within the organization reports sexual misconduct.
They report
specifically sexual assault.
So against a player.
No, or yeah, against the player. I guess so. A player reports sexual assault against a coach.
Oh,
within the organization, yes.
What?
You are in the playoffs. You are in the playoffs, about to win a Stanley Cup.
Okay.
What is your course of action?
Okay, I am you probably aren't gonna like this. I'm definitely more conservative than you, maybe. I have to know more about this story. I have to know details. On its face, as you present it, you have to at least sit the coach and have a independent investigation against him and what happened. I mean, right? I mean, I don't know.
I'm just asking what what is your course of action if you were in this scenario? There's no right or wrong answer. Actually, I don't.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I just.
I'm just curious as to what your course of action would be. Q says to suspend, then investigate.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that. You have to. If there's any. That's wild.
Keep in mind, you are in the middle of a Stanley Cup playoff run. You are about to win the Stanley Cup.
Right. Yeah, I would say if it's filed, if it's official, you have to suspend and investigate. I don't know if we agree or disagree, but yeah,
I will
change my mind because I don't.
I will share to you what actually happened. I will give my take afterwards. So in 2010.
Also, Q, do you know exactly what he's talking about? I know you're typing on an Xbox controller. God bless you. Work those thumbs, baby.
Massive respect to that, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Massive respect. So yes, this is a real thing. So I will say that in 2010, the Chicago Blackhawks were on a Stanley Cup playoff run, about to win the Stanley Cup. He says, doesn't matter, any sexual report should be held to the highest authority. A player who we now know his name, but originally was named John Doe, and this came out during the summer this year. This came out. These findings came out during summer. His name was John. He came out as John Doe during the summer. Just in the past 3 weeks, his name is actually Kyle Beach. He was a player for the Chicago Blackhawks that got called up during the playoffs. So he was in. Hockey has kind of like the minor league baseball system. There's a system for you to start out in, and you work your way up through the ranks to the actual NHL team. He got called up from, I believe it was called the Rockford Ice Hogs. I don't remember exactly who was the feeder to the Chicago Blackhawks, but for their playoffs. So he played in the playoffs. There is a report, or at least according to claims from John Doe, Kyle Beach, and independent investigation that happened over the summer. This is just this summer. There were reports that John Doe was sexually assaulted and received sexual misconduct from a film or video coach within the Blackhawks organization during the playoffs. As in, we're gonna get explicit here, so if anybody is uncomfortable with this, I want to make this clear. This serves as a trigger warning. This is very sensitive. This can be very uncomfortable for people to hear about. So the explicit things that happened.
Also, if I could, is this alleged?
This is still alleged.
I'm not trying to protect anybody.
This is still alleged to my knowledge.
Okay.
It is alleged. So allegedly this part. Allegedly the film coach basically coerced. I don't have a better word than other than just coerced.
Sure.
Coerced this player to perform oral sex on the coach, or let the coach perform oral sex on this player. That is alleged. This is confirmed. The video coach also sent explicit text messages to this player. That's actually confirmed.
No Q, by the way.
I will get to the accused comment later. So John Doe, Kyle Beach, reported it to somebody within the organization, somebody within power. Independent investigation showed, again, independent investigation was performed in the summer of this year. These actions that occurred happened in 2010. Independent investigation showed that there was a meeting with the general manager, the head coach, the video coach, and other individuals within the organization. I don't remember who all. To discuss this meeting, to discuss the course of action with you. It was reported to my knowledge. Again, I haven't read the 127-page report.
Sure.
That came out. I have it saved on my phone. I will read it when I have the time. I just don't have the time to read 127 pages right now. Reported that the independent investigation found that what came from that meeting is that they claimed that they were going to push it higher. They were going to do some more investigation and bring it up to more higher ranking officials. That never happened. But all that, like, they never pushed it higher, and reportedly worked to hide it, worked to bury it under the carpet, because they were in a Stanley Cup playoff run. They did not want this negative attention to come out. So no course of action happened during this time period. Kyle Beach was not informed about this. He was just told that they would do. Action would be taken. They would look into it, but they never looked into it. They swept it under the rug, and they apparently what came from this meeting also was the decision to sweep it under the rug. Chicago Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup in 2010. As you know, or if you may not know, people within the organization get their names engraved on the cup.
Yeah.
Video coach, I believe, does get his name engraved on the. I could be misinformed though. Somebody directly involved with this meeting got their name engraved at the end of the cup. And the way it works is the Hockey Hall of Fame lets each person within the organization, they gave them 1 day to spend with the cup. The video coach got to spend 1 day with the cup. This happens. 2010 passes. We come to 2011. Nothing happened. 2012. Nothing happened. 2013. Chicago Blackhawks win another Stanley Cup. I think in 2013, video coach leaves the organization and goes to a university. I don't remember which university it is. 2014 happens. 2015 happens. Chicago Blackhawks win another Stanley Cup. 2016 happens, and I think in 2016, former video coach of the Blackhawks, I believe it's 2016. I could be wrong with these years. Former video coach of the Blackhawks, now with his new university, convicted of sexual misconduct and assault on a player on the hockey team that he's coaching or within the organization, has to register as a sex offender in the state of Michigan, I believe it is. 2016 happens, nothing. 2017, nothing. 2018, head coach, I think it's during 2018, either 2017 or 2018, head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks gets fired from the team, goes to the Florida Panthers. Head coach, his name is Joel Quenneville. He was with the team during the 3 Stanley Cups that the Chicago Blackhawks won. 2018 happens. 2019 happens. 2020 happens. General manager named Stan Bowman, who was general manager during 2010, during the Stanley Cups, is now promoted to president and CEO of hockey operations for the Blackhawks. Summer 2021, John Doe comes out with accusations, or as John Doe, is reported John Doe, former Blackhawks player during 2010, reports or comes out saying, "Hey, I was sexually assaulted by a former video coach of the Blackhawks during the Stanley Cup run." Independent investigation is held during summer. The reports of those findings come out, I think, 2 weeks ago. It becomes known in this report that the Chicago Blackhawks took no course of action, and now here's where the NHL investigates. The NHL comes in, investigates. They don't talk to former video coach because he's not with the NHL anymore. They talk to general manager of the Chicago Blackhawks, because he's general manager and president. After this meeting with Stan Bowman, ESPN reports Stan Bowman has resigned as president from the Blackhawks organization. We'll speak with former head coach Joel Quenneville and with Florida Panthers on Thursday. I think this all happened last week. Last week, Stan Bowman resigned, I think it was. Thursday, so actually Wednesday night, the Florida Panthers have a game. They play a game. Joel Quenneville is on the bench for the Florida Panthers. He has a meeting. It is well known that he will have a meeting with Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL, the next day. He is coaching on that. He's on the bench with the players. The meeting happens the next day. I don't remember how long this meeting happens, but after the meeting, ESPN reports Joel Quenneville resigns as head coach of the Florida Panthers for his involvement with this technically a scandal. And then during this time period, John Doe reveals himself to be Kyle Beach. there's an interview with TSN. Q might know what TSN is. It's the Canadian ESPN with Kyle Beach. It's a 20-minute video interview. God damn it, is it hard to watch. It is really hard to watch. The emotions are raw from this guy. This guy has had to live with this for 11 years with no course of action. So your response of saying you guys basically agreed suspend then investigate, basically right there. I will finally address Q's comment here about so money is more. Yes, we are live. Hello, Dark Blast. I will finally address Q's comment saying so money is more important than ruining a life forever, even if it was a false accusation. He's saying that as a hypothetical question, and I don't think he's saying that directed to us. My answer to that question is absolutely not. You have to take immediate action and investigate immediately. Take these things seriously. I do not care if you are in the middle of a Stanley Cup run. You can do a private investigation without the media knowing. Do an investigation. Don't investigate within the team. Do your own investigation and also do an external investigation, a private investigation, of some firm. Have them investigate too. Take this up to the higher ups. Report this to the NHL. Let it be known. The Chicago Blackhawks swept this under the rug. And this hurts me a lot because
you're a fan, yeah? Yeah, right.
My old phone has the Chicago Blackhawks case. I have a stocking cap that I was looking at earlier in the week. It is a Chicago Blackhawks stocking cap. I liked the hat. Notice the word that I used there. Liked the hat. I have Blackhawks jerseys. I have shirts. I have Blackhawks pajamas that I currently wear. This hurts me because this is my team. This is the team that I supported. This is the team that got me into hockey. Not because I'm from Illinois, just because that's what was on. They were on Stanley Cup when I was watching it. When I first started watching the Stanley Cup. First Stanley Cup I watched was in 2009, Penguins versus the Red Wings. Actually, yeah, first, or sorry, 08, Penguins versus Red Wings. I watched the 2009 Cup. I watched the 2010 Cup, and I loved the way the Blackhawks played. I do not know how to feel about this other than just I'm hurt. I'm angry. And my morals of, I will always be loyal to a team no matter what is severely questioned.
Yeah.
It's almost like a breakup that I'm feeling right now. And you might think that's silly, but let me explain why. It's like, you put a lot of effort and heart and soul into this team.
No, that's not silly.
And then this happens. They do something very questionable.
Well, it's very reminiscent of last summer with my Iowa Hawkeyes.
Oh yeah.
So, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Not
go
the
ahead.
same, but the way they handled it. It's the way they handle things. It's the way you react. And the way I feel about this right now, it's like the reason I compare it to a breakup, it's like the other party did something that I have to figure out if I can move on and forgive what happened, the mistake that they made, the horrible mistake. Do we play a game? I play a game occasionally on Twitch sometimes, but I haven't had time to play games on Twitch. The primary channel that we do is a podcast on here. But I appreciate you stopping by. Sometimes I play games though. Sometimes it's just very recently I haven't decided what I wanted to play and that would fit on my Twitch channel. Primary thing is a podcast though. You jumped in at a very weird time. We're talking about a very serious topic. Normally we aren't super serious, but this is something that I wanted to talk about and have been wanting to talk about for a few weeks now because it's bothered me. And I think there are lessons to be learned here. No, you're fine. You're fine. It's all good.
You're good. Thanks for coming by, Dark. That's great.
Yeah, feel free to stay or not. It's
stick around, man.
It's solely up to you. But yeah, like I just right now I'm at a crossroad. It's like I'm stunned. Can I move on from this? Like, yeah, none of the people in the organization during that time period are there now. None of them are there anymore. Coach Joel Quenneville was one of my favorite coaches ever that I've watched and that I loved his craft. Can I feel the same way about him now? The person, I think his name is Al McInnes. I don't know. I don't remember his actual role. I don't know if that's the video coach or who it was. The Hockey Hall of Fame yesterday scratched out his name on the cup.
Well, okay, wait. Like I said, the Hawkeye shit is not the same shit, right? Every instance is individualized, and that's good, right? I mean, I know you're an individual guy, like take by take, story by story, like that's how you are. Obviously, I can tell how upset you are. Like it's not. I don't think it's fake or forced or whatever. As a fan. What I think your question is, if I may, as a fan, what do I do when shit like this comes out about my team? Like, how do I act?
How do I react? Like,
So
I look into my closet and I'm like, I'm not even sure if I can wear this right now. It's.
I get it.
Something like this is just
what do you have to lay your head on how they move from this. Now you just told me a 10-year period of them covering it up. That's tough, man. Like I don't know how the NHL works and how they could get away with something like that. Maybe that's
the NHL didn't know.
Right, but I mean, okay, a cover up in general, right? How do you separate fandom from an artist? You know, that's how I look at it. Like, it's tough. It's difficult. I would personally, and I'm just an idiot who knows nothing. You have to like separate like fandom from the actual thing, and the fact that like if you're not just a stan, like if something bad happens and you don't just sweep it under the rug because you're a fan, you as a fan have already won because you're questioning it. You know what I mean? Like not a lot. There's a lot of Blackhawk fans that are gonna say, "Oh, he was lying," or this and that, or blah blah blah. They'll cope, right? There's a lot of fans that will cope. When you put it out and you say, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Do I sell my jerseys? Do I get rid of them? Type of a thing. I would say if the Blackhawks are a good organization, like you think they are, or like you think they should be, they will right the wrong and stick with them until they do. And if they don't, then you can cross that bridge. Okay. But like, that's crazy, man. Like I didn't know that. I mean, you just you went through like all of the steps that were taken. I mean, over a decade. That's crazy. I remember 2010. I'm not a hockey fan. I remember rooting for the Blackhawks because I'm a Cubs fan, right? So like, yeah, that's Jason. That's tough, buddy. That sucks.
I don't know. I'm just like, knowing that nobody on that team is there anymore gives me solace. But the fact that it took 10 years. The fact that it took 10 years, and the fact that those individuals that were involved in there were in the NHL or with the Blackhawks for 5+ years after the fact. The fact that this man who, this guy just wanted to play hockey, and his dream of hockey was ruined because of this.
Yeah. And also I'll give it. So earlier I was like, I'm not going to comment until I know the entire story or whatever. This is a guy who was on the team, who was a part of the team who won the Stanley Cup. So it's not somebody who was washed up and needs to,
Yeah, he's
you know
not
what
doing
I'm
it
saying?
for attention or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly. Like
if he was doing it for attention, he would have revealed his name immediately.
Right.
It's tough, man. Like that interview with TSN. I haven't watched the entire interview. I watched just a snippet of it, and it's like, I'm not ready for this interview yet. I'm not ready. I'm not mentally ready for this interview to watch it, because like,
but it's weird. It's weird to stand for a team. You know what I mean? It's we all have our. I only have like 4 teams, right? So like, if one of them, the Hawkeyes, when the Hawkeyes went through the racial shit, I was like, I didn't know what to do for the longest time. Like, it was wild. And Q said, support the team, don't support the actions. I totally 100% agree with that. But because that, you're also very important as a fan to stand up and call out your own side's bullshit. And so good on you for doing that.
Yeah.
At least you can do that. At least, you can look back, and if they continue to bury, sweep it under the rug, like whatever, then you can walk away with your head held high, right? But if they look at it, acknowledge it, get rid of it, say that we fucked up, then you can wear those fucking colors proud, So
the NHL, the fine, because the NHL fined the Blackhawks. I'm not happy with the fine. I'm not happy. It's not that, I'm not happy because they fined them. No, I'm not happy because they fined them $2 million.
Right.
For 10 years. For 10 years. What was that?
Well, that goes back to Q's, when he hit me up. This guy's life is ruined for what? Money, a trophy. One thing that I will push back on is he said, for an alleged thing, or for what did you say, baby? I'm so sorry. You said something about like maybe not faking it. False accusations is what you said. They screwed up that investigation, false reporting. If it was false, then yeah. Like if you lie about it, then yes. Fuck you. don't lie about shit because that shit really does happen.
Mhm.
Don't lie because then it minimalizes shit that really does happen, right? But it sounds to me, you know, a guy from the outside, it sounds to me like you've got a lot of fucking examples about these guys not doing it right.
And this isn't the first time that a player has been involved with sexual misconduct or anything like that with the Chicago Blackhawks. Patrick Kane, most likely a Hockey Hall of Famer. Chicago Blackhawks winger, I think it is, or center. I don't know, some good player. I think it was in 2015. 2015, there was a woman from New York that reported that she was, I don't know if I could say that word on Twitch, but you get the point.
So
The R word.
that's so I think you should read cues.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to read this on
Right.
audio because anybody that watches this back on YouTube can take a look at it, but anybody that listens on Spotify, I want to be careful with these things because some of these things are very personal and I don't want to broadcast that.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm conflicted about that too, but because I kind of question does the player actually see the words, you know, that I say or whatever like that. No, I will say it right now. Like, I don't think they'll ever see this, but I will say it right now. I wholeheartedly am with Kyle. Kyle, I'm with you. I'm disgusted at the actions of the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm deeply hurt that the fact that they failed you. There's no other words than just they failed you. And I hope that there's going to be healing from this. No one should have had to suffer this, especially for 10 years. Especially for 10 years. I will never understand what you went through because I was never there. But damn it, I'm 100% with you. I am 100% with you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't, other than just support you. And I don't envy you right now because you are faced with you were faced with a tough decision in 2010. And you have been faced with tough decisions and tough thoughts for 10 years. And you're faced with tough decisions right now too. I 100% support you. 100%. 100% support you. I'm, as a Blackhawks fan, as somebody that supported the Blackhawks, granted unknowingly I didn't know that this happened. I want to extend my apologies to you. I want to extend my apologies that this happened and that I supported this organization during that time. And I understand, you can't really fault me because I didn't know, but still, I feel dirty. I feel
Yeah.
Like, that's just there. I recently looked at pictures of me with the Chicago Blackhawks winning the Chicago Blackhawks Stanley Cup from 2015. Like, there's a picture of me with that exact Stanley Cup, because the cup travels, with me wearing a Chicago Blackhawks hat and a Chicago Blackhawks jersey. dramatic irony, hindsight, 2020, whatever you want to call it, like that hurts me. That hurts me to look at that and say, man, like that's. I supported a team that failed him.
But it's very important to let him know as a fan, you know what I mean? That you feel that way. Be like, just what you said. That shit goes a long way, dude. Where you're just like, hey, I am a fan. I want to still be a fan. Like, I'm questioning it like the entire time, but like, I feel bad. Like, that's empathy, It's important. It's something that's lost where maybe you feel a certain way and then like the thing that you love goes another way and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I had no idea that this organization would do that, but
yeah, I at this current moment, I do believe that I still will be a Blackhawks fan. It's just my passion for the team is not where it was before learning about these things. I want to enjoy watching Blackhawks games again. And I want to enjoy having that logo and supporting it, showing the pride that I have for this team. That right now is difficult. It will get easier with time, but that's not to say that I'm gonna forget that this happened. And
sure.
Every time I see that logo now, it's hard. It's hard. Every morning I'm scrolling through my closet, just looking at shirts. What am I gonna wear today? And then I come across this Blackhawks t-shirt, and I freeze. I do. I stop at that shirt and I freeze.
Yeah, but it's like Q says, like it's a good thing that you have, a light goes off in your head where you're like, ugh. Like, if you just were like,
yeah, if I was just like, oh,
right.
If I was just like, oh, it happened, it's all good. No,
right.
No, that's no. The fact that it happened,
yeah, it's all part of it. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, hopefully it's not ever, especially when it comes to like sports or art or something like that. Like, you hope that like that's never an aspect of it, but it eventually will catch up to you. Shitty things are going to happen to the things that you love. Your heroes are going to be, they're going to show you an ugly side.
I've experienced that a lot. I was a big fan of Kevin Spacey before.
Yeah, right.
That happened. I mean, I'm not a fan of cancel culture. Like, I despise cancel culture.
Sure, no, yeah, but that's different. It's
just I need time to process how I'm going to handle this and what decision I'm going to make after this. Do I still want to support you or not?
Your ability to call bullshit is like a superpower, as far as I'm concerned. For real.
Yeah. And like, man, like, I still love hockey. Hockey is one of my favorite sports. I love it. I will never. This isn't gonna, lessen my love for hockey. This isn't gonna lessen my love for the NHL. But to Kyle, man, there are a lot of people with you here. There are millions of people with you, and there are millions of people that feel sorry for you. There are millions of people that are angry with you. But none of the millions will be able to feel what you're feeling. None of us will. So, Chicago Blackhawks, make this right.
Yeah.
You failed a player. You destroyed someone's dream of of playing in the NHL and enjoying his time in the NHL. You need to pay up. You have a responsibility, in my opinion. You have a responsibility to pay him reparations for your severe misconduct, your lack of leadership. You owe him the time he's lost. And you could never repay him the time. So you got to pay him the money that he potentially could have earned. Pay that up. That's more than $2 million. You know that's more than $2 million. Additionally, pay up. Donate to sexual assault centers in the Chicago area. You have a chance to make this right. I expect you to make it right. You will never be able to make it fully right. Never. You will never. I don't care. You will never. But you have a chance to go in the right direction. The resignations are they are steps in the right direction. But just because the resignations happened and the fine happened of just a measly $2 million, absolutely does not mean that your work is done. As far as I'm concerned, your work will never be done. This is a stain on you that will stay with you forever, and you have an obligation and a duty to continue to make it right. I don't expect anything less of you. Do that for me and do that for Kyle. Do that especially for Kyle. I know it's very serious. It's a very serious way to end this, but you know what? I mean, I don't have any other. I know it's just you could think it's a little bit awkward to end on this note, but damn it, this is something that I needed to say, even though the Chicago Blackhawks may never see this. Kyle Beach may never see this. For all I care, only 5 people may see this. I don't care. I'm gonna say what I have to say.
Oh yeah.
And I think we all have a duty and an obligation to hold each other accountable, no matter what our relationship to them.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the beginning. The end was hard. The end was hard. But to me, it was necessary, and I apologize if we lost anybody along the way for the seriousness. Circleherk, I thank you for filling in for Skidap. Do you have any final thoughts? I know I put you on the spot. It's difficult. I don't expect you to be like, oh man, it's hard to follow up. Say whatever you feel like you need to say, and it doesn't need to be related. It doesn't even need to be related to anything that we just talked about.
No, I will. I will do exactly what I love about this podcast, and I will read out comments from people who were here. Q, thank you for coming by. He says, that shows you're human. You are no less beautiful in heart like the rest of us. Cancel culture has more power because we are stuck in caves. No thanks to COVID. I feel you, and I love you for your honest feelings, for your fellow brother. Your thoughts on this is inspiring. Great stream. And it's exactly how I feel about this podcast. Come in here. Tell your friends. Come in here. Do exactly what Q did. Q, go tell your friends. Next Thursday, these guys are going to do it again. You come in here. You comment. You control this podcast. Not these talking heads. So... And it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful to air grievances or talk about things that you're not certain about, or you have questions about, and maybe things that you think you're certain about. And listen first and foremost. That's the thing that this podcast has always taught me. I was in the comments. That's how I ended up here. Yeah, be safe, stay healthy. fuck yeah, dude. You know, we've all got a role to play in this weird, fucked up version of life, and I couldn't be more happy and thankful for Jason and Skidap for allowing me to be a part of this podcast. And thank you a billion times over. Billions and billions times over. Thank you guys so much for having me. And
thank you so much, Q, for actually stopping in.
and hell yeah.
I really hope that we have you in next week also. What you got there, Circle?
Well, hold on one real quick. I just think I have a little something.
You're bringing the pink hair? I can't hear me.
No, I'm not going to put on no hair. I'm going to be nice. Just want to get a couple things ready to go before you say those magic words.
69?
Hold on now. Hang on. As is tradition. Okay, 2 seconds.
Oh, I think I know. Oh no! Oh no!
No. It's not even that. It's not that. Okay, here we go. My new favorite podcast. You're too kind, as your countrymen would say. You guys are too nice. But anyway, thank you very much for having me. It's 1:49 a.m. Midwest Standard Time. Go ahead.
Roll credits. Hope to see you next week. Bye-bye. Stay safe. Stay healthy, as Q says. And I also agree with that. Be well, everybody. Take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Roll call.